I don't want to hit it again.
You're doing great.
Thank you. We are all doing great. This is our best us. Okay, I'm seeing everything's good to go. Welcome to D&D Tonight. My name is Bradley. I'm going to be your dungeon master for this this second in a story of three in regards to the Firebird one-shot. We're down a player today, but that is okay. And I wanted to go ahead and first say thank you to our sponsors at Corporate Streams and Cantrip Maps. We'll talk a little bit more about them towards the end of the game. In case you aren't up to date on what lately happened with that Firebird game, let me go ahead and give you guys just the important notes. This group were living in a place called the Yonder. The Yonder is this large, vast forest through druidic magic has overtaken a lot of the land in a town called Spite. Spite was threatened by the immediate arrival of a large phoenix, a huge firebird that was burning up the entire forest. This group set it upon themselves to save their village and the surrounding wildlife around them to go out and fight this creature, knowing well that they would not be able to safely move it from one area to the next without something specific. They encountered a group of nymphs somewhere in a portal to the Feywild, and one of them offered up her heart in order for them to be able to fell this beast and transport it elsewhere. That nymph unfortunately turned into a tree as a result and is now living out the rest of her existence as such. To make good on their promise, the group went back through the portal and met the nymphs again to make good on their debt. They did not know, however, that they were taking on an additional member to their party in the form of a Rakshasa who Islwyn and Nalri Viomaga, Islwyn Brookhaven and Nalri Viomaga, they're not going to be happy about this, know as Hobby Lipschitz, a individual who's had dealings with them before, and I'm sure we'll get into it. Maybe we won't even talk about it. It'll be fine. But as you guys stand in the Feywild Garden, you're surrounded by all manner of strange, different colored trees. Yes, there are browns and deeper grays of these strange-looking, multi-branchous trees. But you also see deeper shades of red, purple, green, especially in a pale way that kind of extend out. It is a perpetual spring here. The weather is comfortable, warm, and the sun itself looks like it always shines down. In fact, it does. The Feywild is a very strange place. You stand in the garden, addressing one of the nymphs, who has told you that that your assistance is required. This is the aspect of Mist. Who addresses you now. He is a water nymph that is tied to specifically morning dew. And for the sake of brevity, and because I myself have forgotten the name of him and I didn't write it down, and I didn't preview through all the video beforehand, we're going to go ahead and call him the Dew. Duh.
It's way too early in the session for your really bad jokes. It's fine. We'll keep going, though.
He's saying he already gave up. That's what just happened.
That's true.
Damn, starting out strong. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming on and watching the show.
Fuck both of you. The aspect of Mist walks up to you and says, if you are indeed looking to make good on your debt, we wish for you to simply recover Felucian, the Symphony of Rain. She is a nymph similar to us, and the last time we heard of her, she went, would you mind not snickering in the middle of shit? Trying to do a scene. Sorry, tech support is laughing at the bullshit that you two did. He looks over and says, we need to recover Felucian, the Symphony of Rain. She was last seen in the Gloaming Court, addressing the heir of Queen in Darkness, somewhere in the plane of Pandemonium. And the only person who has a similar debt to us, who would be able to transport you to and from different realms of existence, is our mutual associate, Hobby. You see the Rakshasa, a tiger-faced individual with black and gold robes that adorn him in a very luxurious-looking manner. He looks every bit like the merchant prince that he is, and you can very clearly see him furling and unfurling his fingers in his backwards palms. And as his name is brought up, he merely just puts one backward hand up. Should put it over here and just goes.
Nori grabs onto her great axe and just starts squeezing, but looks down at Alwyn for like the okay.
Alwyn looks over at Hobby and looks back at the nymphs and says, I could do it myself. Like, I know how to plane shift now.
It goes beyond just the means of transportation. Hobby Lipschitz has a relationship with the Queen of Air and Darkness. One that would allow you
Air and Darkness, and she has a relationship with Hobby. Who's surprised? All I know is that when we get fucked over, I'm not going to be surprised at all.
I look over at Lawrence and kind of whisper, he's not a good guy.
The worst guy, Elwyn. That's like putting it lightly.
Hobby kind of raises his eyebrows at the spiteful comments you've lodged towards him. The nymph merely goes, "We loathe his necessity, but it will allow you to enter into the gates as friends, which, if we can do this diplomatically, I would like to get Felucian back in our garden, safe, and without any further incursion of wrath from the queen. Mere nymphs are not of a standing that can stand in the court and regard and reverence. Hobby has developed, I would call it Hobby at this point will talk and say, I would call it a professional relationship, one that has been mutually beneficial for many people." And he kind of like arcs an eyebrow over at Islewyn.
Well, if this is a diplomatic mission, I think I'm going to bow out. I think that I'm the last person you want for this fucking job. This is probably the second last person that you want. Yeah. Diplomacy is not really my thing.
That's precisely why we're having you come. We're covering on every basis. If it can't be done safely, then we would need a great warrior, which we are not.
Yeah, you guys are a bunch of fucking idiots, really.
Mr. Lawrence?
Well, I understand they want to bring us with in case diplomacy goes south, but the best fight is always the one you don't have to fight. So I'm in. I think it's a good idea.
Hobby points over. He's like, I like this man. He shows a patience others don't.
No. Don't talk to him. Don't look at him.
The aspect of Mist looks over at Hobby and looks over at the rest of the party to say, do you mean to say that you will renege on your debt to us?
No.
It is decided.
I can't promise that Hobby will be coming back.
The nymph looks over at Hobby. Hobby looks over and he just kind of shrugs. He says, I understand, as I'm sure the rest of this party does, that if certain people fall during the course of the mission, then it will be in service to a debt I will happily pay. Come on. It's good to see old friends again, right? Surely we didn't have terrible times together.
Because I think Goliath is just not like it uses the draconic writing, but it's giant. It's in giant.
Yeah.
Which Nari does not speak often. Nari just yells like eat ass, like you fucking suck. Just not in English, so we don't have to censor it.
Blimey. Well, I believe that the quicker we move on with the job, the better. I believe we can all agree on that. And the aspect merely nods at it and says, please bring back our kin. I'm sorry the way that we have to do this, but I am appreciative that you are all here and that you are honoring. Find her? The queen is going to be the best way to know what happened to her after she went to the plane of pandemonium. From there, it should be as easy as negotiating her removal or of their custody I'm sure there will be several apologies made. Hobby kind of steps forward. He's like, if I can, I'll see if I can assuage her myself, but perhaps this might be a situation of quid pro quo. Do something for her, and then she'll let go the nymph that she has placed into her keep, or whatever has happened to her. That does bring up a good question. Hobby kind of strokes his kind of mane. He's like, if indeed she is unattainable, meaning that her corporeal form remains, but all the interesting parts are gone, will you consider the debt paid? The aspect like furls, and you can see kind of like water droplets begin to like form off of him. Indeed, almost like a weird steam begins to encapsulate him before it's gone, almost as soon as it appears. He says, if Lucian is gone, I will consider the debt repaid and a new one incurred by the queen herself. We are not a mighty people, but I would die on the bricks of the Pandemonium Castle in order to ensure my vengeance. He says, great, spectacular. Should we get going? Do we need anything? Snacks? Wine? No? Well, I parked just outside the grove. If you'll all follow me, and he begins to like tread in one direction, out towards like this thicket of bushes. If you guys like, you have this moment as the party yourselves to speak amongst each other.
I look at Nari and I just kind of shake my head.
We don't really have another option, do we?
Very lucky. This will just be an easy ride. Diplomacy succeeds. We get to come back and don't have to do anything. I don't think we'll be that lucky, but there's a chance.
The thing about Hobby is that dealing with him is like dealing with somebody who has weighted dice and two-faced cards and just all sorts of tricks. There's nothing. You don't know you're fucked until the very last minute, and then maybe.
Don't sign anything.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe you'll be able to get out of it.
we'll keep an eye out. And even fixed dice end up rolling up wrong on occasion.
Just
So,
To maintain the act, you got to have a little bit of a failure every now and then, and we'll catch them. I don't know what issues you guys have had with him in the past, but yeah, we've worked well together, and I'll take your word on it for this one.
Nari leans in close, really close, and just, he ain't someone from our last party. And that's the least worst thing he did.
You didn't kill him?
Nari actually shoots Alwyn probably the dirtiest look you've ever seen her give Alwyn, but not say anything.
And I don't even mean then. Even just when we saw him, you wouldn't immediately. You have much more patience than I ever would have guessed of you.
Oh, don't worry. We will not be returning with Hobby alive. I can guarantee you that.
All right, that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to interfere with that.
Alwyn looks over to the nymphs and says, do you have anything to help? I don't want to ask too much because you've already given us more than enough. But if there's anything you have that could help us succeed on our mission to help you, I would really appreciate it.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. Druid.
I wish I could help you out,
Alright.
dude.
That's a 7.
He kind of like looks at his own hands. He says, my magics, any that I would cast, would not last long enough to cover you for your journey. I may only grant you a single boon, but it will not last you very long. Maybe, I do not know how the hour turns for you, but for an hour I can at least bless you in one way. And he like places his finger upon your forehead, and you can feel like a small droplet kind of form there and crystallize. He says, "In this way, you will see the full truth. I do not enjoy the presence of that devil, and I imagine that he will use honeyed words for you, any way to entrap you. He is indebted to us, and as soon as he is finished with his portion, he is of no use to us any longer. But I imagine he will try to slip away in some form or another. Regardless, should he attempt to lie, you may, at least for the next hour, have additional guidance to see through it. Essentially, effectively, for the next hour, you will have advantage on insight checks.
Cool.
You can kind of hear, "Come on, time's wasting."
I want to bow my head and say, thank you. And kind of back away.
You do so. Would you guys like to join over where Hobby has walked?
No, but we will.
Yeah. Nari walks over like jaw ticking the whole time, like vein pulsating.
You arrive and you see the same caravan that you once did when you initially traveled with him. The green paint has faded and chipped even more so. It looks like there's an extra scorch mark or two on it. It looks like a few of the spokes have been replaced, and while others are a little bit more weathered. On the front part of this caravan, you see a skeleton pulsating with green light lit up. And as you guys come over, it kind of like looks over in your direction as Hobby kind of leans casually against the caravan. He says, do you remember this old tinderbox?
Nari kicks one of the like weaker looking spokes.
Oh, well, that wasn't very nice. Say, do you like the driver? He's new, actually. A parting gift from your friend Galarian. Oh, I see that you are uninitiated, Sir Dwarf. I've forgotten my manners entirely. And he kind of like brushes his hands against the merchant robes and extends a backwards hand to you. He says, "My name is Hobby Lipschitz, and it is my ever pleasure to meet your acquaintance." I do not have your name, Sir Dwarf, as he recedes his hand back. What might I call you?
You can call me Larry if you feel so inclined.
Larry, it is. Pleasure to meet you, Larry. I know it doesn't look like much, but trust me, it's far more roomier on the inside. We'll be heading on our way shortly. No reason we can't travel in style. And as he walks around the back of the caravan, he very carefully removes like a few little locks. Some look enchanted. The chains themselves actually evaporate in a green light. As he opens up the back of this caravan, you can see it looks like the entrance into almost a den, an area where you could see like several doors and cushions, beverages of different kinds. It looks almost like a, I want you to imagine like Moroccan themed, lots of cushions instead of chairs, rugs, very extravagant rugs, all sorts of different things adorn the room, different trophies. It looks like there are some blue dragon scales on the wall. It looks like there's a few arrows that are like put on display, a few skulls from strange looking creatures that you can make a nature check if you want to decide if you've seen such a thing before.
At least you finally got some taste.
Yes, I did furnish recently. Sadly, the help that you knew are no longer with me. And he kind of points to one area, and you see there are two hands that are displayed in a small case. One is a green half-orcish looking one. Another looks like it belongs to a large avian creature. Mr. Axelrod, what did you roll?
Oh, I actually didn't because I figured it's yeah, and that's why 4. Oh, sorry,
4.
Sorry, 2. It's -1.
Oh, gotcha. Looks like some kind of bat-like creature. You're not really sure. He, with a large amount of panache, kind of points in. He says, "After you, please."
Down in.
Okay.
Whatever.
I like stare at the hands and then keep moving on.
I'll follow her.
After the Iowan passes by, he closes the door and simply knocks on the back of it, and you kind of feel the entire the room jolt just a bit. He says, "It won't be very long for a journey, but I thought we could stay here, chat a bit, just like old times. More specifically, I thought we could speak honestly, if that benefits the party here."
I get the impression the most honest speak that you have would be nothing at all, so let's just mind our own.
It has been my advantage to know my way with words and to craft them very carefully, especially in dealings with people who I'm not very, I'm not on good terms with, I suppose is what you would call it. But Mr. Axelrod, I'm in the business of wants and needs, and I want to know what your needs are.
How about yours, Hobby? How's those wishes going?
It's interesting you ask that, and as he kind of moves, you can see the robe kind of gives way, and you can see the spent luck blade at his side. He says, since Iowyn last used her wish to bring back Skya, it's really more just a very fancy-looking sword. Not a basic enchantment by any means, but it more serves as a trophy. No, a monument. A monument to how I was outsmarted, outgunned, outdone in a few different ways. And there's not a moment that I pass by in my life where I don't feel the clang of the sword against my leg and not think about you and your crew, running about the plains, causing all sorts of issues for people, helping others in specific ways. We didn't do bad per se. It was a pretty good haul, but I will say that the ends they didn't quite justify the means.
Sounds like a good time to me then.
Ellen doesn't say anything. She just smirks to herself while he's talking.
Lawrence, you have to understand, my association with these lovely women are tenuous for a number of reasons. I offered them a fair amount of gold and power in exchange for assistance moving about the plains, transporting cargo in different senses, reclaiming stolen property and others, and essentially attaining this right here. And he takes out the luck blade and kind of like with a flourish kind of places it against. He says, "Tell me what you see with this." And he goes ahead and he offers the luck blade to you.
Why did you eat one of their party mates before you tried to correct me too much?
I didn't eat any of their party mates. I enacted a portion of the contract, which would, technically speaking, the individual was in breach of. So, yes, their demise was unfortunate, but a deal is a deal. People need to understand that.
Just because you may have been right doesn't mean you're not an asshole.
I won't say I've never been accused of that, but I had very specific reasons for why I was doing what I did. It's all towards an end game, What is the goal of everyone is what I try to find out.
There's only one end game for all of us. And it's death. I don't have a clever enough line for that one.
They should have sent a bard. Regardless, you're new here, I suppose. I'd imagine that a different form might be a little bit more suiting for you, at least for the ride. And he uses a quick disguise self to reappear as his redheaded human form. He looks as though he were just regular human, regular hands. Still in the same kind of attire, just a little more toned down for this particular look. He says, "Now, I think about a great deal of things nowadays. Most importantly, people and their placements and what they're up to now. But the people in this room only have a single objective, just to go rescue a nymph and bring her back. And that's as simple as I think it needs to be. I would hope that you would all agree with that particular endeavor.
I know better than to take things for face value, Hobby. For anything in life, but twice as much when it's with you.
Oh, that's smart, especially what you've gone through. So many, many different things. You know, recently I've been getting into cartography, some map making. In fact, I made it myself a globe. I think I have it somewhere around here. And you can see like the form of a few other skeletons kind of pick up and bring over Hobby this kind of like globe of Oros. And you can see Helena, and you can see, well, not Oros, Alexia as a total, but you can see Oros and Helena on there, as well as some of the missing isles and the curtain of, and the giant scar on the back of the world. He says, this right here is probably my prime piece that I've been working on. I've got others in production. I'm sure some people would be interested in knowing what the full world looks like. But here, take a look, Nalri. Do you notice anything missing?
Can I do an intelligence check? I don't even know. Is that a history check? I'm assuming it's just the missing little crack in the world, but
we can go ahead and call this an investigation check.
Okay. Or would it be a nature check?
This would be closer to an arcana than that. You can use either that or investigation.
I mean, it's all the same.
Mm-hmm.
8.
8. As you're looking about this globe, first of all, this is the first time you've ever seen a globe. It's not a pretty common thing.
No.
Looking about, you can kind of see the areas where you've been, like different areas in Oros that you've traveled to.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see like a rough descriptor on maps, but the entire thing is kind of larger. You also see like small little specks kind of moving up across it.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, not much. He says, have you taken a guess as to what's missing?
Nalri stays silent because she would not. She doesn't want to say no. She doesn't want. It's like a pride thing. She can't look dumb in front of Hobby. If she looks dumb in front of Hobby, she looks like she lost, and she cannot lose to him. So she just stays silent.
I gotcha.
Egos.
He says, interesting. Maybe I'll tell you later, but just keep this in mind. This little spot right here, and he points to a portion of Oros, just kind of encircles it with a fingernail that you know is a tiger claw underneath. Now, my own interest here is to fill out the debt that I owe to those nymphs and be on my merry way. And I just want to make sure that in the most basic of agreements that we're joined on that. Of course, I'm not really offering much in exchange for that, am I? We are on our way over there, and I'm sure as soon as you have the information you need, you will dispose of me, which you might be able to do. I've had better odds before, but I've also had worse and gotten away. So, if you agree to no wrongdoing on my end, and we can get through this on a relatively peaceful and bloodless encounter towards our party members, then I can promise the same on my part, at the very base.
Do I believe him?
Make an insight check.
She had those 2 dice in her hand.
Yep,
waiting.
I did.
Just like, here we go.
You told me that I had advantage. So that is going to be a 21.
Ooh.
Wow. That's really good, even with my plus 10 deception. I'm going to go ahead and message you something privately.
Oh, whispers
Alright.
and secrets.
Yeah, whispers and secrets.
I don't like it here.
So how's everyone doing?
There you go.
You're right.
All right.
What say you? A pretty sound agreement. Nope, contracts, nothing written up. Just, we'll call this a sinner's handshake. I agree not to be awful to you. You agree not to be awful to me.
I've agreed to things before and still outsmarted you. I'm good. I don't need any more agreements.
Also, Mike, I believe you're muted for that last bit.
No, I just wasn't. I was like,
Oh, gotcha.
I just was more quiet. Like, I mean,
Nori,
it seems fair, but I mean, I'm wise enough to know not to make deals with you, and like, there's something about like oral contracts, and I feel like this would constitute that, and I really don't want to take those chances.
I see. You believe everything you've been told about devils, I'm sure.
Yeah, and learning so far seems.
You ever met one before? A devil, I mean.
Well, in less amicable settings, but yes.
I've imagined that the confrontation between you and them was a little bit more direct. All of this talking.
A little bit shorter too.
Well, that's the thing, Mr. Larry. You strike me as a person who picks their fights carefully. Like you wouldn't. Have you ever been in a fight that you haven't won?
One or two, but that was only because it was succeeded by another fight that I then definitely won.
There you have it. Extenuating circumstances aside, you seem like a person who has your head on your shoulders pretty fixedly. I would even say confidently so. You're a man with a stretch of logic that sees the situation for how it is.
What's your point?
My point is that you have a confidence in the words you say and how you measure them out. You get to the point. You're direct. You're also a feasible fighter, not unlike Miss Nalri here. I mean, the things that she did to some demons in the abyss, to hear their bones grind against each other is a certain kind of music that you can't really put onto paper. But I digress. I'm confident that you would understand any kind of deal that you would make to be only fortunate for you.
No.
And
you got more to lose if you try to challenge the three of us. I've seen what they can do.
But we're all friends here. We've established.
But we're not friends.
You need to make that deal because you're outnumbered by three people who could all probably take you one-on-one at this point. We don't need to make that deal. So, good try.
Nalri like gets up next to, or like stands next to Lawrence and is just like, yeah, hubby, it's been a long time.
I'm surely positive that you're correct. Surely I am. I would like
name Shirley?
Oh no, but I'm friends with a Shirley, you might say. Mr. Axelrod, I would like you to make a saving throw. I'll let you know in 1 second what kind.
Oh.
I'm right next to him. Can I like help out in some sort of way? Like I'm very intimidating.
You are very intimidating. It's true. It would have been ...
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Nope. That's wisdom.
All right. That is an 8.
Okay. I didn't even need to look at that.
She had said strength or constitution.
That
probably doesn't make sense.
You have no notice of anything that occurs. He says, yes, I'm friends with a Shirley, you might say. Someone I'm sure that you're well acquainted with as well.
All right, no more talking.
Very well. And he just kind of leans back on a cushion and has one of the skeletons bring him like a glass or a goblet. You guys feel like the signature movement of space moving around the caravan in a planar distance traveling kind of way. A pull, a drop, a feeling like the entire stretching of your anatomy is felt through the tips of your toes to the toppest hair on your head. And then there's a lot of turbulence all of a sudden. He says, they call it pandemonium, but they should really just call it Windy Town because he's like trying to balance his beverage and he just takes a large swig of it, places it. He's like,
as he places it down, I want to do a sleight of hand check to knock it over.
Sure, go for it.
Nat 20 plus 8.
Of course it is.
And it lands in his lap. It gets all over his room.
I just picked these up from Clydon. You have any idea how hard it is to find? No matter. And he stands up and he walks into the private room that you know that he has up a flight of stairs and returns in a brilliantly blue merchant outfit, kind of the same robish kind of look with a few armbands. He's returned back to his Rakshasa form purely, and he steps forward and he says, "There, good as new. Let's get on with this." As he goes towards the back end where the doors are, he opens them up and you can kind of see a plane of just howling wind and these moonlight craters that are burrowed in just from the sheer velocity of the wind that is hitting sand against each other and just creating these larger cavernous holes. As he gets out, you can kind of see all of his fur like moving to one side, kind of avoiding wind in every direction. As he gets down, he says, "It would appear as though we are here." And he motions over, and you see this large, impossible castle. It looks almost as though a meteorite hit a pool of lava and it froze midway to show like this obsidian-like castle. You can see a few little openings throughout this entire structure that indicate a kind of rudimentary window and a large gate with several of these pale-skinned creatures in hoods kind of regarding everyone. One actually goes up and starts to speak in Sylvan. Anyone understand Sylvan? Boom! Of course the druid does. You can hear it say, "State your business." And then Hobby clears his throat and says, "We have an appointment," speaking in Sylvan, "to meet with Her Majesty. Please tell her that Hobby Lipschitz and friends have come to meet her in her court at her pleasure." One of these darklings kind of moves into the area, and he kind of stands beside the carriage, just kind of clutching his robe in the wind. He looks over to you, Al, when he says, "Listen, she might take interest in you. I would do your best to downplay any tie you have to nature. Hard to do, I know, but trust me, it'll be just for the easier." As he turns up, he actually looks...
Everything he says, I'm sorry, I don't believe him. I have to check that too.
Yeah, go for it.
My girl. That's my girl.
Once again, that's a 21.
Okay. You do not get anything this time.
Okay.
Very hard individual to read with very swift speaking. As he turns away, he turns directly up into you, Nalri, who is never very far away from Iowin as kind of just a rule. And he looks up, he says, well, I'm gonna go around you now. And he kind of just awkwardly sidesteps.
Never mind, I'm not gonna be petty.
Okay.
I was gonna trip him, but
you guys, a darkling comes back and he kind of nods at the other one. The gates open up for you, and you guys are taken through several dark corridors of these almost like, it looks like these star-like bricks that are inlaid upon the walls. The very furnishings of this room include statues of people who are wallowing in pain or have like elongated metal stretched out, almost like the screen made into a statue. You move along this area and you notice that this is very much a kingdom of some sort, but it's all a little bit warped. As you enter into the court itself and you see the large arcing throne, you can see several open windows that betray the desolate landscape, and the thin dark light that does show through reveals several different people in her court. Lots of boggles and lycanthropes, more these darklings, all just kind of poised and speaking amongst themselves, and get very quiet when you all enter into the room. Hobby is the only one who seems very much at home here. He struts into this area with a kind of panache and some kind of flair that kind of accompanies him. And as he moves in, he says, thank you all for receiving us. And he merely stands waiting the queen, and you do see this kind of shimmer as she appears, almost as though she herself is made of kind of a ghost-like material. It looks like her entire form kind of shifts with her, blowing in the wind all the more. She appears and apparates. As she's walking down, it seems like she completely disappears, only to reappear several feet closer to you all. She says, Hobby, it has been some time. Her palish blonde hair kind of swimming all about as though it were in water. Her eyes, this kind of dark, indescribable shade of orange that seems to flicker like candlelight being blown in the wind. She says, and who are your friends? Hobby says, well, these two. And he goes ahead and he puts a hand on both Nalri and Iowin firmly. He says, these two are previous co-workers of mine and the muscle that I have brought along on this journey as well. Very dangerous cargo. Lots of interesting things. I can show you if you'd like, she says. Another time, perhaps. She looks over at you, Nalri. She says, I recognize this one. You've been in my court before. Fun fact, you guys have actually been here before. This is the second time you visited in. It's been a while, but...
Been a while.
Yeah. He says, you have changed. Not as though something has been lost, but as though something has been added. What is it? She kind of stares not into your eyes, but at you, like looking almost through you. And she appears to just blow away. And then when you hear a voice from behind, she says, this one is also familiar to me. She reeks of the Feywild. Hobby, have you been associating with sisters and half-truths? He says, always. Always, you know me. But we are here on business. I was hoping you could help identify someone. And he kind of looks over at the group and kind of puts an eyebrow up.
We're looking for a nymph, one of the nature people. Mm-hmm.
A nymph, says. Hobby kind of like rolls his eyes. It's like, yes, we are looking for the Symphony of Rain. I was told we might be able to find her here, unharmed, hopefully.
What name is that? Like, who names people these things? Like,
the queen kind of like hesitantly says, unharmed. What is your association with this being?
We're just we're picking her up and dropping her off. We'll see you.
It's a bit drafty in here.
Yeah.
She says, the nymph you speak of is within a custody. She offended me greatly upon her arrival to the Gloaming Court, doing several things that I would consider to be treason. And then she spoke insults in my direction. In front of my guests and the people that I hold closest. So I merely said good day to her, asked her to leave, and sent her to Typhildwyn. Everybody roll. Oh my gosh. This would be, you can make it nature, you can make it arcana, or you can make it history.
I'm going to do nature.
Okay.
Nature and arcana are the same for me, so.
That's a 17.
17.
Same.
17.
All for arcana.
All right. Way to go. Ladies, Typhildwyn, you don't know what it is, but it is an Elvish word, and you know enough of it to mean it's basically it's Old Elvish for guilt. But it isn't used in the traditional, like, I have guilt. It's more of like, you are guilty kind of tone.
So it's like a prison or something?
One might call it that, yes. In fact, I'd say that would be an apt descriptor, though its existence is far beyond just harboring criminals and traitors and insects. she kind of like shoots over a glance over to Axelrod, and she says, "No, I had her taken there until she had learned her lesson."
You said she's not part of your court, though. Why do you think you get to make that decision?
Because she was standing in my court when she made her comments.
Has she learned her lesson?
I don't think so. Not yet.
Well, look. Your court, yes, not your subject. Let's call it half and half and call it a day.
Make a persuasion check. This is the character that we put a negative modifier on, right? Like, yep. It was a character choice, if I recall.
Okay. It is a nat 20. And I do have a -1.
Okay, that'll be a 19. The queen kind of considers this for a moment. She says, perhaps she is more trouble than she's worth if she's having people sent after her, and I agree. You may take her.
Can I do an insight check? Do I believe her?
Absolutely, yeah, go for it.
Same. Can I do one too?
To say this is, I don't know.
I got a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Does my insight only apply to hobby?
It does.
Or...
It is for everyone.
Okay. For everyone.
8. Way to go.
Okay, just checking. That's a 21.
Okay. She rolled a natural 20. She is extremely hard to read. I will, however, say that I'll win with a 21 because it's the only thing higher than you could possibly get. You will say that it does not appear as though all the pieces are here. Like, there's something specific about how she worded it. She says, I will omit my prisoner, Lucian, the Symphony of Rain, to your party. And she kind of like does a bestowing manner, and she turns and walks towards her throne.
In exchange for what?
She sits down, still kind of her aspect blowing, and she says, for nothing. You may take her. She's freely yours. You can hear kind of Hobby growling like, oh, fucking shit.
Can I do a perception check?
Sure. What are you looking for? Or what are you trying to hear, I guess?
Nari's a warrior, so her natural instinct is like, oh, we're going to get like jumped as we're leaving, like something's going to happen. So I think she's looking and listening for any sort of like movement or preparation or just like general shiftiness.
Okay, sure. Go for it. You go ahead and assess for threats.
That is going to be 19.
Okay. There are several threats in this room. Lots of them well armed. If they all decided to attack at once, you might not make it out, but you've also got the Druid of the Wilds with you and a fairly confident previous Bastard, Butcher of the Bastards member with you. Mm-hmm. Axelrod and Iowyn could probably take this room on if it really came to it. It wouldn't be a fun victory, but it would be a victory nonetheless. There's something else at work here. Mm-hmm. Hobby says, we graciously accept your majesty. Thank you for your time, your hospitality, and your wisdom. And he kind of bows and begins to walk backwards out until he reaches like the threshold and turns, and he kind of nods over you guys to come as well.
All right. Just gonna mosey on backwards like he did. I'm assuming that would be a custom just to be safe. So.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it while like keeping like dead eyesight or like dead eye contact with the queen, but still retreat.
There's a coy smile on her lips as you guys enter out of this castle and arrive back at the caravan. Hobby takes a balled up fist and he's like, and hits the side of his caravan. You can kind of see it all just kind of shift slightly and then come back on edge. The skeleton itself, the head pops off and ends up right next to his hip bone. He says, damn it.
What?
For all that went wrong in that room, I will say it might have been your convincing manner that pushed her to do what she did. Do you understand what just happened to that room?
It's just slow blink.
shaking my head.
She has released the prisoner from Typhalgwyn. She is not going to lift a finger to do it, which means that we have to travel there.
How do we get there?
Typhalgwyn's getting there actually isn't the issue. Sorry, go ahead, Nalriad.
Oh no, I was just gonna say his stupid ass.
The rule is as much shade as you can, as frequently as often.
This isn't Merit, baby. I'm not gonna be nice to you.
That's fair. I miss Merit. We need to play with her again. We're trying to make it happen. He merely looks. He says, "Getting to Typhalgwyn isn't actually a problem, despite a few minor adjustments to the caravan's initial magical coursing. I can get us there. The problem is that it's smack dab in the middle of the Feywild, the Shadowfell, and the Prime Material all together, which is an issue for traversing the internal part of it. Getting in will not be a problem. It's getting out that will be a nightmare. Rooms essentially decide when and where they will end up going. You could walk yourself into the kitchen or the bedroom chambers, or perhaps even the armory of this particular prison, and end up in an entirely different room altogether. Navigating it is impossible without the right tools."
Oh, so it's like a more impressive version of your cart.
My doors go where I want them to. I don't even think anyone has control of how you can go about this place. Typhalgwyn is it's an impossibility. It's not just a prison. It's anyone who is of magical descent, or anyone who is sentenced to any such crimes by any of the courts, are sentenced here, usually indefinitely, or until the queens decide that it's time for them to leave. And they're the only ones who can usually do it. So, getting her out, we have her permission, but no actual way of having her released besides going in and finding her, which is going to be an issue if we're going down a hallway and end up in a garden. No. We need help. I know a gentleman who could assist. Sadly, he can be paid. He can be paid, yes. We will simply go up to him. I will guise myself as another, and we'll see if we can make a transaction for a specific item. This gentleman is very keen about making keys, I should say, for locks that weren't meant to be open. He will be our way in. We have to navigate this carefully, though. He is a smart individual, crafty, not unlike myself. Reminds me of my younger days.
Oh my god.
We have
what sort of key? What does it do?
I believe that he has a way for us to navigate where we need to go based off of our greatest need. Way to dab sneeze.
At least I'm muting, okay?
No, thank you. He says it's a kind of compass, I suppose you could call it, shaped like one as well. My associate might have a way for us to know which door to enter through in order to get where we need to, and similarly reverse that problem out. Just a way of navigating.
I can do that.
How do you mean?
I know a spell.
I myself know very many spells, but I would...
Yeah, but you're not as good as she is.
I'm ignoring that. I'm just going to go ahead and put that right there. Which spell did you have in mind? Because this will make a difference on what you use.
Is this in character or out of character?
This would be out of character. What is the spell called?
Bradley, the spell is Find the Path.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
It allows you to find the shortest, most direct physical route to a specific fixed location that you're familiar with on the same plane of existence. I think that's the main thing, is that I'm not familiar with it, but...
I am. I know exactly what it will require.
I mean, you know the Feywilds. That's like part
Or a
of
destination that isn't specific.
That's the problem. Same plane of existence. It's lapped over 3 separate ones. There are rooms in here that lead to the Shadowfell and also the Feywild.
Ooh.
Yeah. So if you are in an area that leads directly there, the spell could work. Feasibly, this might work out for you. But there is a chance that it may not be able to. You'd have to be certain about where you were going.
I just don't want him to rope us into some deal that like we're not down for.
Mhm.
So
You can tell him that.
she's gonna look up at him. Say, how do I know that if we go get whatever this item is, it's not just a part of some other grand scheme that you have, some trick you have up your sleeve, some way that you think you're gonna get out of whatever this is?
First of all, Iowin, and I do mean this as the single greatest truth that I will ever bequeath onto you, I always have a way out. Secondly, I'm not going to be the one who's making... Yeah, you want it? You want to do it?
Nat 20.
Fuck me. Nope. I'm like, huh? He definitely believes it.
That's hot.
Secondly, this individual hates me. So
oh my
you
gosh,
have
I
the...
love them already. Sorry, that was Nor anyway. That had Nor energy.
He says, this gentleman despises me entirely. He is also the best way to navigate through the hallways of this area. I can't give you any assurance that this isn't all part of some scheme. I'm pretty sure any explanation that I would have would intrinsically be flawed to your nature. What safeguards would you like? What are the terms that we need? Because we need to do this. We know where Felucian is. We just need to pick her up. And the best, easiest way of navigating those hallways, and the most direct way, would be with the help of the lock.
And let's go.
Let's go. Let's do it. No deal.
But I'm not agreeing to anything until we find out what it costs.
I think that's fair. And for the sake of increasing security, I'm going to go ahead and take the guise of someone else. He goes ahead and he shifts himself so he looks like Kiro, the half-elf ranger that was with you guys previously. There. That way, the danger is minimized to everyone in the group.
Oh, does this person not trust you?
You can say that the dealing that I had with this individual did not go well, no. But I have exactly what he lost out of that deal, so I assure you that I can pay him out of my own pocket. No expense to you.
I think I like this person already.
I'm sure you will. He's a dashing figure. Come, we must be getting on. The wind is going to pick up again, and I'd rather not try to catch my caravan with a rope again. He leads back into the caravan once more and knocks twice to the driver, pulling out a stairway for the rest of you guys. Everyone coming?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Okay. As he's in his half-elf guise, you can kind of see him moving his hands together, kind of rubbing them backwards and forwards. He looks nervous for the first time. You can feel this kind of shift happen. Once again, the same planar movement moving you sideways through a dimension until you arrive abruptly in an area that looks like a small town populated by these shadowy figures. Translucent, see-through kind of specters kind of just looking around, faces familiar to some. And you see a very large, oddly prime material-esque manor with a large golden light at the top of it. He says, look, engage him, ask that you need a way to navigate. I will say nothing. This will be all on you. I don't want to give him an opportunity for him to understand who it is that I truly am under here. It would be bad for everyone involved.
Nori looks to Alwyn and is just like, good guard, bad guard?
Cool. You guys are led out of the caravan into the manor that is well lit. Axelrod, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Basically, Nori's not going to say shit because I will fuck this for the group.
That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. It is you alone who notice a small black and white orb that emerges from this area, ropes around the back of the party, and it enters into the form of Hoppy.
The fuck?
Something wrong, Mr. Larry?
A little white orb circle looking thingy just kind of went into. What was that?
Was what?
Did you not notice? Am I going crazy here?
Probably not.
I don't notice a thing. Make an insight check.
15.
15. He's lying.
No. You know what I'm talking about. What was that? Before we go any further. I know what the fuck I saw, and I know you did it.
I've been hexed. I lied to you very successfully, might I add. And something has happened. I wish no wrongdoing upon any of you. Make another insight check.
Can we all?
Yeah, absolutely.
At 20 this time, 23.
Yeah.
21. I swear I
17.
keep alternating which die, but I just keep rolling 18.
17.
17. Nalri and Iowin, he says it very convincingly. He's a hard man to read, but Axelrod, you do in fact see that he is lying. But he seems very perturbed by it. He says, something has happened. I'd feel off my game. He couldn't have known.
No. This isn't adding up. He's bullshitting us right now. I can tell. Something's not right. I don't know what it is. Have you guys ever seen like a white orb go into him before?
Both of you can make Arcana checks, actually.
Okay.
I don't think that's a
17.
That's
17?
an 8.
Okay. Nalrian, you know, the fuck. I
don't
went a
know,
little bit
spell.
closer to some magic that you're aware of. Certain warlocks who make pacts with weapons can force energy out of their pact weapon and cause people to falter in things that they would otherwise be great at. This is a Hexblade's curse.
Love this song.
This is truly awful. I can feel the truth coming to my tongue. It itches.
Yeah, curses aren't fun, trust me.
All the more reason for you to do the work that I cannot.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Well, I'm sure he's waiting. He knows we're here. He begins to like walk up a few steps and then notices no one else following him. He says, I'm not leaving.
Why not? Why not? He's your friend.
I'm currently cursed, and he's definitely not my friend. No more than you are mine. Fuck! This is...
I'll lead if I can trust you to keep an eye on him behind me.
You got it.
Of course.
The four of you
Too much talking.
stroll on up into this manor, and the doors open up to reveal a very well-lit interior for somewhere in the Shadowfell. Lounging on a couch nearby with a weapon that looks like a broken blade that is stretched over it looks like the outside of the blade is intact, but the inside has been broken down and is held only together by this motes of black and white inky darkness and fragrant light that kind of wraps around the pieces to hold it together. The individual stands up, a half elf, a handsome looking gentleman with these eyes. The eyes are strange. They shift a little bit. The sclera is completely dark, while the irises themselves are blindingly white light. He looks over, he smiles, he says, we have guests. Guests. Love meeting new people. Welcome to the lamppost, I suppose we'll call it now. That sounds right. Pleasure to meet you all. My name is Guy. You can call me the Lock if you so choose. And he extends a hand down out to Nalri.
Nalri shakes it firmly. And will not look him in the eye. I almost forgot that one. Will not look him in the eye.
Pleasure to meet you. He goes over to you, Axelrod. He's like, Guy Lynch, pleasure to meet you. Friends call me the Lock. We're friends now, aren't we?
About that, but maybe.
He goes over to Hobby. He says, pleasure to meet you, sir. How are you? And Hobby just kind of nods standoffishly. He says, and you? He kind of just puts his hands up. He says, something about you. All the same, pleasure to meet you.
I shake his hand and just kind of like shrug back.
So, what can I do for you?
Well, we came here, so we were looking for something to help us navigate, and heard this is the place to go.
I mean, I could recommend you someone who could build a good compass for you. If you need a sextant, if you're going on the water. But I don't think you came all the way here for that.
We need something to help us navigate between planes.
Really? I'd recommend a good guide, but short of that, I think there's something we can help you out with that. I could whip up something in the back room real quick. Come on, follow me. And he goes ahead and he pushes through the doors. You see a dark-skinned woman with this blindingly white hair open up. She says, oh, we have guests? Should have put a pot on? He's like, no need. I think they're just simple customers looking just for a means to an end. You head on out there, Matilde. They're gonna need some. We're gonna need some help on an island far off from here.
Can I just do like a quick insight perception, just like lock that image in my mind?
Sure, go for it.
Cool. Is there much difference between the two? I'm looking at all of the wrong things. No,
Okay.
that's gonna be a 14.
14, very good. 14 will get you this. She's early 20s woman. Looks like she's. It's really hard to really put this emotion into. I can only give you what it's adjacent to. There's a sense of purpose about her, a kind of awakening that and energy that comes with something that you're doing passionately. And as she kind of struts confidently through the hall, she says, don't mind her. She's the lady of the house, so to speak. And, well, we just moved pretty recently and we're still kind of getting acquainted. Let me go ahead and have you meet a friend of mine.
Nari's eyes definitely follow her out, though. She's very impressed.
Yeah. You can actually see her walk out the gates of the home and create this inky black portal with her hand that she just kind of steps through. The lock leads you down into what looks to be a dining room, but has been kit-bashed into this enormous. I'm trying to think. It's essentially a blacksmithery with the furnace being like the main kiln. You have several, like a large anvil made of that same dark starry material that the Queen of Air and Darkness's palace was made out of. And you see a dwarf, an interesting looking fellow with a large mask over his head, currently hammering away at something. This enormous forge kind of sits into kind of a divot that is wrapped around in a circle deep into the floor. It looks like everything was kind of like dug up almost in order to accommodate this. Indeed, the wood paneling has been scraped off of the ground and pushed aside to kind of reveal like this earthen kind of texture on the floor. The dwarf works with no gloves and is merely just smashing down with a hammer that looks very impressive. Detailed work on it. Even as he like holds it in the air for a moment, you can see that it's fine material. And he says, Moradin, we've got guests. And he takes this steel and places it into water nearby. He opens it up and you see like the face of a very acutely bearded dwarf. His eyes are like small simmering coals, but he greets you with a warm sunshine-like smile. He says, it is a pleasure to meet all of you. I assume that they are, he's like, yep, they are customers for our wares. We need a way of traversing. Well, it'd be nice to know what we're looking through. What exactly are you trying to navigate through? You have a name for me? We're just trying to get from one end of the 9 hells to one end of Elysium?
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot the word.
Yeah, no, Nalri kind of looks at Alwyn and it's like, guilt. It's like one of those old Elvish words.
Oh, Typhlegwyn. You're trying to get into Typhlegwyn?
Not into, just around.
I see. You drop a...
Getting to it is easy. We got that.
Oh, well, that's good. That would run you a little bit more, but moving around Typhlegwyn, that is a trick. Moradin, what do you think? You think we got enough materials on hand to build something? He kind of strokes his beard. He says, I can make it. It's like, you can make it? I can make it. He can make it. What'd you leave in Typhlegwyn? Family keepsake? Family member? Erratic werewolf? What is it? What do you got in there? I gotta know.
Friend of a friend.
Damn.
Righto. Well, we can cook something up. We best leave Moradin to kind of like hammer away at his stuff here. He kind of keeps on looking over at Hobby's image of Kiro, and he says, I could have sworn you look familiar to me. We met before? Hobby just kind of shakes his head. I have to make 3 separate rolls on this one.
Nalri, never mind. No, fuck him. He can burn.
He says, you sure? Gosh, you got the likeness of someone. Can't place my finger on it. Must be the eyes. And kind of looks over to the rest of you. He says,
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
You already said you were going to be speaking, so.
He says, so you left a friend in Typhlegwyn. You ever been before? Do you know what you're up against?
No, but if you
Any
have some
advice you have would be great.
Allison, we can't keep doing this. Saying almost the same thing at the same time.
Well, Typhlegwyn's veritable... It's a veritable hotel of who's and who's nots, mostly who's nots. It's overseen by a paladin what broke their oath in exchange for power long ago, and had some assistance in guarding it by these massive stone golems that patrol endlessly the halls of this impossible structure. Gosh, I'd love to get my hands on one of those boys. In fact, if you're in the market for anything in particular of value, I actually left something in Typhlegwyn the last time I was there.
What's in it for us?
Well, for one, my generosity, and let's call it store credit. This operation that we're running here is new and interesting, but it could always use a few other pieces to add to the collection to help us hurry the process along. We're in the interest of making magic here, and I mean actual magic weapons, not like what artificers just pull together in a rough hour. I mean real magical power, the ability to eliminate foes on a grand scale. And should you bring it to me, we'll see what I can do for you. Find ways to make you yourselves stronger for anything you might fight. This one here, pointed to Axelrod, looks like he gets in a few different fights. I'd assume you need an upgrade to your arsenal. Maybe all of you.
It's always usable.
Sure.
What exactly is it do you need us to get for you?
Well, the last time I was in Typhlegwyn, I was there as a guest, you might say. And I got my way out of there by using, a lucky bobby pin. Something that holds a lady's hair up, if you're unfamiliar. In fact, I really need that bobby pin back. I know exactly where I placed it. It was right underneath the panel of a painting of a man and a wolf. Hit it there right as the stone golem was coming, and he cut off my only exit. I had to keep going one way. It's tough to navigate on your own, built to be impossible to break out of, but with the right help. Anyway, that is more of a keepsake, you might say. Should just look like an ordinary lockpick to some. Ink on the handle is pure ivory.
Well,
Nalri kind of like plays with the tip of her lightning javelin and is just like, got anything for slaying demons, different types?
Got a lot of things that could help. Of course, you'll need to be godly disposed, connected to someone on a higher plane. But if you need a shortcut, I think I could provide something. Yeah, I know exactly how I'd go about getting it too. Need to take a trip over to Demogeny, but it can be done.
Okay.
If that's something that you're interested in, we'll call it a fair trade. You bring me back my bobby pin, and I'll find a way for you to kill demons and devils of all sorts.
Rakashas even? Rakshasas, there we go.
He kind of leans very closely forward. He says, what interest do you have in Rakshasas?
Just like to be on my toes.
He kind of like removes the sword for a second. He says, a friend of mine was actually a Rakshasa. Actually, probably still is, unless he's hiding as someone else. A long time ago, I went on a job with him that went very poorly.
Nari kind of looks over to Alwyn and just like, yeah, I've heard of that story a couple of times.
In fact, I'd like to see my old friend again, get what was owed to me. I got cut out of the deal, you might say.
I always thought they kept their ends of the deals.
Oh, you know how an agreement could be with them. They say one thing and you sign up for everything that's on the tin, but they keep their writing on the inside.
Yeah, bastards that they are.
Yes, Mr. Axelrod.
Well, first off, I'm a bastard. Secondly,
I know
we know very well the impacts of a devil deal gone wrong can be. Our buddy here, I go over to Hobby. Our buddy here lost his voice because of a devil and his doings. But don't you worry. I tell him all the time we have will always lead up to us killing that devil. I just look him in the eyes, and we're gonna find him and just hold him down, and we're gonna pour holy water and all these awful things on him. We're gonna just dice him up real good. Just really make him suffer for all the wrong that he's done, all the evil he's done. And I know that that's what you think about every night, just getting back and that devil slowly and painfully dying. I know every night that always has been, always will be until it's done. And then you can finally rest easy.
You're a good man, Lawrence. You're a good man.
Kiro, nod along as well. I want to give him as much support as possible here.
Part of the slow burn plan to get him to play nice.
He looks over at you with this indescribable look of anger and hatred that he's trying to just...
I hate it too. That's where we're going to really make sure we spend a good few weeks on this guy when we get him. Oh.
It's so intense, his gaze, that for a brief moment you can see like the visage of his cheek shift to like orange like stripes before he has to maintain it. He literally loses control of his concentration on the spell for just a moment there because of how blisteringly angry he looks. Wisdom check aside for insight. This man, he has now incurred the wrath of Hobby. The lock looks over. He says, you seem to be as displeased with him as I am. Funny thing about Rakshasas, they can't be killed on any other realm besides their own. But there are side steps to that, shortcuts. I'll give you such a shortcut if you bring me back my bobby pin.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for it. You said under the panel of a painting of a man and a woman?
Man and a wolf.
Yeah, man and a wolf.
Well, there we go. I saved myself from destroying one painting then.
Best of luck on your journey. I believe that we might have something already done for you. And he stands up, goes back into the room that Moradin was in, and he brings out a beautiful looking compass. It is inlaid with notes of chestnut wood and sparkling platinum on the edges. The exact arrow itself is inlaid with the finest craftsmanship of silversmithing you have ever seen, with embroidery on northeast, south, and west that is second to none. As he holds it, he says, Like the lock just kind of like holds in his hand for a moment. He's like, and you can see the arrow directly point towards Hobby for a moment. He's like, interesting. Well, we can go ahead and say that this little machination works pretty well. And he hands it on over to whoever will take it.
Nari snatches it.
He's like, oh, and there is the manner of payment. And you see like Hobby reach around and take out a large sack that he goes ahead and he hands over to the lock. The lock taking it, looks eagerly inside of it. You can see gloves that are on here are tipped with these small little metallic pyramids, each of them kind of pulsating with that same kind of echo of shadow and light. As he looks in, he says, wow. I'd say if you've had your troubles with Rakshasa before, you can only assume how hard it is to deal with them to get back something that you're owed. Somehow, this makes that pain just a little bit lighter on my heart. Well, I best be going then, and so should you. You guys have to break into a prison, so best of luck. Hopefully, I'll see you soon. Hobby bows ever so slightly, and he begins to walk out at a quickened pace. He gets about 50 feet before you hear the lock go, oh, and there's one last thing. And you see like the lock's hand go up. He makes a small little incision, like a gesture like this, points, and you see a brilliantly green light flash out of his fingertips and strike directly into Hobby. There is a brief red pentagram that appears as soon as the spell hits the side of it, but it bears all the way through and strikes directly into Hobby, shattering his disguised persona. And you can see racking through his entire body, pieces of fur just begin to like fall off as he like takes all this incessant damage into his person. As it flies him out down the steps and it causes him to careen down them, he like falls down. He says, he vomits, stands up. He says, how dare you? He's like, oh yeah, no, that won't kill you. Finger of Death being a stronger spell, I'd imagine that'll do quite a bit of damage to you though. You're just that much closer to being killed, Hobby. One misstep, that's it. You're back to the 9 hells and you gotta climb your way back out again. Oh, I knew it was you. I knew it was you from the second you walked in. Well, miss, you bring that bobby pin back to you and I will happily give you the shortcut you're looking for. See you around, Hobby. And he goes ahead and he walks back into the house, shutting the doors firmly behind him. Hobby like struggles to get up after he's been racked with this necromantic energy. You can see like the smoldering like smoke coming from the small little injury wound that was made by the Finger of Death spell. He stands, he says, and you lot just stood there like cattle. All of you. You are, each of you, a nuisance.
If you were really strong, Hobby, you wouldn't need us.
I don't need anyone. Never have, never will. They're all just pieces. Let's go get this fucking Fae. Be rid of each other. He goes ahead and turns in a tuft, doesn't care if you're following, and climbs back into the caravan. And that is where we'll go ahead and take our brief little break. I've got, 14 on the hour here. Go ahead and give it about a 15-minute break. We'll be back at 5:39 to continue this little episode.
Sounds good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I don't know if it'll mess up the OBS, so I just do that now.
Oh, that's smart. Oops.
I've been yelled at way too much by Keith and everybody over there.
Yeah, well, I already stopped video, so. Oh no, she's walking away.
I'm back. I'm here.
Hey.
I made popcorn.
Touch up my lipstick.
My wife made a delicious vegetable net.
Bada bing, bada boom, boom, boom.
Hi guys. It's the first
Hello.
time.
Was that on?
Before
Was
we
that
go live again?
All of it's live. Intermission just we
Oh. You don't hit mute?
I do, but that doesn't mute you guys.
You can't mute the whole
I
thing?
hit mute until I started singing and shouting ad libs.
I only talk about my dinner. You know, whatever. But
What'd you eat for dinner?
my wife made a delicious vegetable medley with
I didn't know if there was like an intermission screen or something up right now.
potatoes, carrots, something else that's good. I don't know.
Sounds
And a little
fire,
bit
dude.
of cheese, and I threw in a little bit of rice.
Yum.
Mm-hmm.
I had Cheesecake Factory yesterday.
Shoved a couple of Triscuits in my mouth. And a Milano.
Well, you said till 7:39, so for the next minute, I'm fucking eating.
Yep. Yeah.
Y'all can blame anyone who doesn't like watching me eat alive can blame Bradley for this.
You know, everybody loves a good mukbang every now and then. So
I've got another probably 10 seconds.
Bradley, how much do you regret our friendship?
I'd say it's like a 7 out of 100.
Oh,
Like it's not a lot, but it's a percentage.
but every now and then I say something dumb and you're like,
No.
wait, okay.
No. I love you all equally. The same level that I hate you all. No. It's a joy to play with all you guys. This whole mood has thrown me off. I'm sorry, audience. All three of you.
Hey. Ooh, what kind of popcorn you got, girl?
I muted myself because I was crunching. It was just regular
Okay.
popcorn. I just put it in a bowl.
Nice.
I love popcorn. Maybe if I say popcorn enough
I
times,
found
will hear it watching the
Allison.
stream.
I found a brand of popcorn. We need to be eating more. It's like you can mix it, you pop it in the microwave, and then you can mix it. They got Parmesan and something else, I think garlic. It was cheddar and garlic. They got Parmesan and rosemary. It's organic. It's fire. I'm going to bring some the next time I come down.
All right.
10 HP. Okay.
10 HP, is that what you said?
Love either
Is that how much you lost from the spell?
Backenbach or
No, a finger of death is a hurtful spell. It is done to harm people.
Like when I speak.
I make a saving throw every time. It's usually a charisma saving throw.
And you have
What?
Nolri stats.
No. If anything, that's the only thing that I put all of my stats into.
The same. Charisma and wisdom are my highest stats.
Might just be charisma for me. My life is a dumb
We
stat.
had this conversation when I took you to the parks. It's fine.
Yeah, I think I remember that too.
Maybe like a
Alrighty.
little bit of intelligence.
Kinda,
Like enough to be a 0 modifier.
I feel like I should put this like over here so you can like still kind of see it. It's fine.
It's fine.
Anyway, aboard the caravan, you will all load into this vehicle once more as it shifts, and this time in a very different. Oh yes, we
Really
had a
quick, before we buckle our asses in, Nalri steps over to Lawrence and slides the compass into his hand.
Mhm.
And basically is like, if we don't want Hobby to have it, and Hobby would not be surprised if I had it. So,
bid as best I can.
of course, you're a good man.
Dwarf, whatever.
Dwarf, whatever you identify as, you're good, okay? And just like walks away.
Strictly speaking, I'm neutral, but thank you.
What up? I like you. And just keep
Never has it been so hard for Nalri to give a compliment out.
And this time it's not her pride. She's just awkward.
You guys are shifted. Hobby is like taking like ointments and like rubbing it on his skin, trying to heal up, and you can kind of see the fur kind of coming back onto him, but it doesn't look like he's 100% by any means. He like tries to hide it in his walk, and as he gets further away from the lamp post, he does appear to look better. At you guys move through, and eventually the caravan stops. He says, "Finally, we're here. Come on, let's go." He goes on up. The bravado, the kind of wind taken out of his sails, he just slams open the caravan doors, and behold you is a singular turret, crimson, made out of almost this waxy material with a single pair of doors. It looks a lot smaller than you'd imagine it to. There are no windows on the outside of it, just stretches out towards an impossible sky. What you do see is kind of this shifting, almost like the reflection of light in water, this kind of shimmering effect that kind of moves over the side of it. He says, "That there are the elemental planes moving throughout the entire structure, shifting different elements of the Feywild, the Shadowfell, and the prime material all across itself. We need to be incredibly careful. Do not speak to anyone inside there. Let's get in, find a Felucian, and get the fuck out."
Okay.
What?
Yeah, we're on the same page. So.
Good.
Where
Great.
was it? We were here for the first half of the show.
Then why are you not leading in? Don't you have the...
I guess we will.
You guys walk on up. You head to a pair of doors, and you see 3 symbols over the top of the doors. A snake, a rat. Put it down for the third one. Hang on.
Puzzle. I've been through this dungeon.
A snake, a rat, and a hawk.
That totally is a Skyrim puzzle. We just have to spin these fucking pillars. So I've seen this one.
They're illuminated on these kind of plates backed by green lighting. Do you open up the doors?
You guys get any bad vibes on this, or should we move forward?
I'm not very good with snakes, but
I mean, all right. Well, I am. So let's.
Let's go.
He's like, "Let's go." No.
Amber out from the get-go just to be safe. Just. Mm-hmm.
I just want to like look at the doors and see if there's anything else on it that.
Sure. Make an investigation check
Easy.
for me.
Okay. That is a 13.
13. It doesn't show you any runes or hidden symbols. No thieves' cant are written on these doors. But the doors themselves, you can't place the material. You can't really say what it looks waxy, almost as though it's made out of candle wax. But placing your hand against it, it's smooth, soft, but firm. It's almost impossible to really discern what this material is made out of. And it's kind of puzzling. It kind of rings around your head a little bit. You know you felt something like this before, but you just can't place it. As the doors open up into Typhloquin, you can see that the hall is well illuminated by chandeliers that are hung by ever-bright candles. The interior is furnished well with lounging couches placed on either side of the room, several doors. You do see a few things. Actually, everybody make a perception check.
You all see varying amounts of things.
That is a dirty 20.
11.
I don't see dicks, dude. I got a 3.
3. Okay. And I'm sorry, what was that, Mr. Lawrence?
7.
7. Okay.
11.
Oh, 11. Thank you.
So I can
Nalri-
tell how old the paint appears to be.
Nalri, upon first look, this place looks like a little bit like a lavish mansion, but very old. The overall feeling that you get in here isn't cold or unwelcoming. It doesn't itself appear to be a prison. In fact, it seems like a lounging area. This feeling of malaise kind of creeps across you, a sense of hominess, and you realize that this is like the manor of your adopted mother. It's like a noble household. It's not the same. It is by else, but like the wallpaper, the couches with like these weird little cushions that have like buttons in between each of them. You can see like the handrail is like has that same varnish but a different color. There's a lot of things that remind you of that home, though it's not the same place. It definitely evokes that feeling of hominess.
It's enough to make somebody feel guilty about something.
Yes. Axelrod, entering in here, you actually take notice of the divots, these kind of almost waves that move almost like there's a tide that kind of comes in that washes over the stonework. And you look upon it and see that as it moves from one end to the other, the regular cobblestone flooring turns to grass that quickly uproots ever so slightly in the shadow of these different pillars. As these waves kind of move throughout the room, they move unpredictably throughout everything, and everything it covers turns it into a vibrant green dreamscape. In certain areas, you can see these pockets kind of form into the air itself, and it is what initially catches your eye. You look and see a very vibrantly pink image, and you realize that it's the wing of a butterfly before it encapsulates and the bubble collapses once again, and you see nothing there at all. The entire place kind of shifts, but it is Iowyn who notices the large cage-like structure on the right side of the room. It looks like there are two of them that are set in front of these little almost kiosk-looking apparati. Against a blackened oak wood, it looks like this area is decrepit, rusting, old, musty. You can see that the bars themselves have elements of that orange rust climbing up the top of them. And you can see humanoid figures kind of standing there, sitting at this little kiosk, regarding you with a silent, almost respectful gaze as you enter in.
I want to kind of look up at the figure and give a little wave. Hello?
Very deliberate, slow motions, but it does respond.
I want to turn to the other people in the party. Do you guys see that?
We don't, do we?
No, you do. It's there. But you notice that it is another like humanoid thing, and it is looking at your party.
Can I like front? Like what?
It does not react.
Still looking up at it. And I just want to say, we're looking for someone. Can you help?
The stone golem turns its head to the right a little bit.
I think that guy said that this is one of the protectors. Him, these things, and these things and like one other person. Maybe.
I don't want it to see us as a threat, you know?
I know. You like doing the nice way first.
So what do you want to do?
I look at Lawrence and just, what do you think is our best play here? Should we go in blazing? Should we try to do the diplomatic thing first?
They haven't shown any hostility for us. I think we should put our weapons away for the time being and try to play it cool.
2
I
to
don't
1.
understand what's going on here, but
Yeah.
they
2 to
seem
1. We'll play it your way, Alan.
Okay.
my Warhammer was
Yeah.
Bradley, is it still watching us?
It is.
Is there somewhere we can get that is out of its sight in
There
the
are
same room?
2 doors to your left, one with a snake over it, the other with a rat over it, and a stairwell that goes up.
Okay, it's still going to see us no matter what, but I am gripping my staff and I'm going to shake it a little bit and cast Pass Without Trace on myself and the rest of our party.
Indeed, the wave-like entities kind of like form up around you, and you can see many of them open, and this inky blackness kind of add to your shadow and kind of rip to your figure, making you guys harder to detect.
Cool. We all get plus 10 on stealth checks now.
Enjoy.
Just so y'all know.
Up.
I want to turn and look at Hobby. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check at disadvantage.
Okay.
I'll explain why in a sec.
That's going to be a 12.
Okay.
It's a 4 plus 8.
You cannot see him because the shimmer tells you that he has used invisibility on himself.
Got it. Okay. Lawrence, you have the compass, right?
Oh, yeah. Duh.
Yeah. We're trying to be low key about that, but okay. So I take out the compass and just kind of see if it points in a particular direction.
It moves towards the door.
All right, towards the 2 doors on the left.
No, the ones that you entered in from.
Well, the compass says we should leave. So
They
I
did
feel like
say
we're in the Department of Mysteries now.
yeah, the doors change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess if the doors have changed, maybe that's an option that we can take. We can go backwards.
Yeah. Seems
that
like
seems like the really good first step to make sure people know that. Like if this is all riddle based in any capacity, the first step is to know that you don't need to go in the other doors. So let's go backwards and if we end out outside, we can just step right back in and take another door. So
True.
Okay. Right. What is the verdict?
Let's go back.
We follow the compass.
You open up the doors, and indeed they do open, and you don't see the caravan or the scape of just white that encompasses around this area against a dark lit back sky. You open it up to see a kitchen, specifically like a washroom, and several of these small little beings, pyramid, cubic, and circular shaped with a singular eye on each of them, are scrubbing and washing the dishes. There's one with a very petite little looking chef hat that is currently placing a single beetle onto a plate and like positioning it just so. And then ringing a small bell where you see 2 little other mechanical constructs pick it up and then move it off. And then it like goes like this. And another one is brought out. It looks like a squirming earthworm that it's placed right in front. It kind of like looks, takes the plate, places it onto a scale, and says, it does like a motion like this. You can see all of them working in tandem. It looks like they are arranging food. Some are scrubbing furiously and falling into pots, cleaning up the inside of these big brass tin bowls. You can see lots of things. On every plate that goes out is some kind of insect. You see, usually dead, on a plate that is served out.
I love it here. Master
That's
Chef.
really cute.
Yeah, Master Chef, like what is it? Quadrilateral edition. I love it. I like look at Lauren, or Nari looks at Lawrence just like confused.
I had him once on a rough mission, but never thought it'd be a delicacy.
I was talking about I was more questioning the compass, not your experience eating bugs. We've all been there.
Oh, right. Yes. Well, let's see what it says now. First off, do we see any other doors immediately, or?
Oh yeah, there are a set of double doors towards the back with 2 little circular windows. There's also a door to the left of the room that leads out, as well as the one that you came in through.
All right, let's stick with the compass for now. I mean, this is something.
Yeah. Can I do a perception? I mean, like, clearly they're making food and stuff, but is there like a window I can peek through to see where, like, who are they serving?
Oh, absolutely. You can go over to the other side of the room. I would like you to make a acrobatics check.
Okay.
I love that I almost called her Iowa, and Allison gives me weird looks when I ask for strange checks.
It's great. No, I love it. I'm just jealous because I have a +7 acrobatics that I never get to use.
Can we do like a 1-2 combo? Can I like put her on my shoulder? My very tall shoulder.
Just hits the ceiling.
Yeah. Alan and Nalri are incredible at chicken. They've never lost a game ever in their life.
Your knees spill.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's just orange juice, basically.
You know it's true though. Yeah. 13.
13. With a 13, you're able to navigate just barely from these like scurrying. They're very much like Studio Ghibli soot spirits, just like moving in and out on an autonomous thing. A lot of them are very strange looking. Like you see little boxy ones, little cubic ones with like really small, like Poindexter like eyes and mouths that are way too close to those eyes, like kind of moving along and like carrying plates, moving dish towels. You can see these like ones that look like they're a plant that's kind of unfurled with eyes on each of these little leaves, moving about and like instructing different ones where to go, like shaking its head at one dish and nodding at another one. Each of them moving in a pattern that is predetermined and delicate, which you are kind of getting in the way of. As you take a step forward, they all have to like move as though you're putting your foot into an ant trail and it's moving it. They're forced to like find a different way around. You finally make it to the other side of those double doors with the circular windows on them. And as you look out, you can see a hallway with several doors, a rug furnished. There are ever bright candles burning, and you can see each of these Modrons like placing down a plate and like knocking on the door and then heading back into the kitchen. And then you can see like one of the doors open and you see a long white hand emerge, wrap its fingers around a beetle, take it in, and the door closes very suddenly, leaving the plate out.
Okay.
I mean, I don't eat meat, and that includes bugs to me. So I think we should keep going.
Yeah. Nari walks back, like grabs some bug off of like a pile that or wherever they're like bringing the stuff in that's like not prepared. Huh?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. I toss it to Gail and I keep walking.
Her mouse.
Yeah.
As you grab what looks to be a very interesting green, vibrantly green grasshopper and feed it to Gail, all the Modrons stop.
Oh, fuck, god damn it.
And look over at you. The one with like the little head shift on like kind of goes up and starts speaking like, and?
Okay, I'm sorry. I like pick off some ration and I put it in front of them.
He like the chef hat one hands it over to 2 other ones who like look and examine. They both nod. He looks over. It's like, ma'am, and they all start moving again as though nothing happened.
All right, so let's keep going.
Oh, you fucking mess one little thing up. Jeez.
All right. What does my golden compass tell me?
Your golden compass is currently pointing towards the door on your left.
Well, let's go over to the one on the left and
yeah, to the door on the left.
Keep us going.
Okay. You open up this door and you see a hallway that is circular in nature with spikes coming from each end, rotating on a gear-like fashion, with no actual pathway forward. It looks like it is a singular hallway that is constantly turning. It looks like the inside of a garbage disposal, but placed horizontally as opposed to vertically. You can see like blades kind of spinning in and out at different directions and a single door on the other side. looking down at your compass, hoping that this is a situation like the one you're back in the lobby, you see a point directly ahead.
All right. Compass says go ahead, move forward. I feel we should do some planning before we do this, as it looks pretty lethal down there. Does anyone know any magic to stop this shit? These blades.
Bradley, how far is the door on
30
the other
feet.
side?
30 feet?
Okay.
Oh, let's see. How far can I jump?
I mean, I can go over and see if there's anything to stop that.
That works.
That's an idea. I mean, it could just be that we need one person to do it and then shut it all down.
Okay. As soon as they like acknowledge it, I'm just gonna Misty step across.
As you misty step across there, you can see on the platform 30 feet away is another little Modron who's just kind of like standing with a small little spear on a perch that looks like it was carved out for him next to a very large switch. He looks at you.
I'm gonna kind of like bow my head at it and slowly reach toward the switch. All right. How big is he?
He's very small. He's tiny.
Just kick
And
his ass in.
What is he threatening me with? He has like a spear or what?
He does. Let me look up the exact stuff.
Oh, please. Just do it. I'll come over. I'll squish him.
Push him.
He is
I don't want to hurt him.
He is a monodrone. He has a little dagger and a javelin.
Oh, little baby Jagger.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm
No,
looking at
do
my
it.
spells.
Get him. Get him.
Where'd it go? Oh my gosh. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
You're perfect on change.
We're problem solving on the spot here. Okay.
You can launch him all the way back here. I want to take a swing with my hammer. Just see if we can home run this motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You want to do what now?
Nothing. No.
Somehow launch him over to me. I want to swing with my great hammer. See if we can home run him. I know I'm asking a lot. Beggars can't be choosers, but.
I'm sorry. I'm still looking at spells.
It's all good.
I really don't want to hurt him. It's okay. I will kind of tell them what's going on though, so they're free to like yell at me about what to do. I just probably won't listen to Ari. Sorry.
I've already yelled. I'm gonna yell. Push him.
Yeah. We're both yelling at you like beat his ass.
I knew this was going to be the perfect encounter because the only person who could possibly destroy it without a thought, the only two people, are on the other side of the room.
Okay.
Yeah, we would have been on to the next room if it was either of us somehow got over there. And he's staying in the way. All right. This switch?
I am gonna need him to. Sorry, I'm reading details. I'm gonna need him to make a strength saving throw.
Roll the 9.
All right. I conjure a watery sphere that absorbs him and kind of moves him out of the way. So he's just,
gets
in a
absorbed.
bubble of water.
You can see him like blink. You can see like the dagger kind of get loose from his hand. He like tries to swim towards it. His little wings are kind of like just beating to try and get over there. He keeps on like tilting it and kind of like floats away from him as he kind of tries to swim through all this.
All right. And once he's out of the way, I'm going to push the switch.
Okay.
Mhm.
As you push the switch, all the gears kind of stop, and several panels, stepping stones, kind of emerge from the divots between each of the rotating gears, making a path for you guys to safely walk across.
All right, I take the path.
Yeah, that works. Good
Alrighty.
job.
As you get
Although
to
I've
the other
never, really quick, this is so important. I've never noticed that you have a ghost thing. Like, I
Yeah.
see you, I hear you, you're valid.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
It
Anyway.
takes a good year to stop touring to work on some mountain stuff.
That was just very important for me to acknowledge.
I've got like 3 more sitting over there that we still haven't got up on the wall.
Hell yeah. Okay, we're done now. We're done here.
cool.
I'm sorry. It's very in character for Islewin to waste a 4th level spell slot just to get this tiny thing out of the way.
That was 4th level.
Yeah.
Bless your heart.
Don't tell Nolly that.
Oh.
Oh, it's okay. I go up to 7 now.
That's true, you know.
This one goes up to 7. Okay. So from there, you guys have made it to the other side of this little ravine. Where would you like to go from here? Just through the door? You can always go back. You can always leave.
I mean, the compass told us to go through the door, so.
Did the compass tell us to leave?
You gave us a magic compass that tells us where to go, and then
check.
you're trying to trick us out of going where it tells us.
Look,
Listen,
we can-
Hobby, we're not playing your games.
How dare you? Going through the door, you see a magnificent dining table. Sat at the front of it is a tiefling, very old, large beard that kind of like goes into his plate, and several other skeletons that are seated around a very large table, each on each side. He's kind of just sitting there, and he's just kind of like laughing to himself. He says, "And then she broke my heart. And from there I committed a series of robberies, all of them in her name to try and win her back, but nothing could." What's that? Oh, no, that would come later. I wouldn't understand quite how a sound could form from a hurdy-gurdy until after I experienced time at Elysium. He's just kind of talking to these 4 dead people, or 3 dead people by himself.
I mean, we still have Fast That Trace up, so.
Yep, he doesn't seem to take notice of you. He's just kind of like having his own conversation. He like grabs another beetle and like chomps vigorously.
I'm just going to kind of tap on Lawrence's shoulder and look down towards the compass.
It points to the right.
Yeah, no
Okay.
need to bother Mr. Desperate over here. Let's go. Let's dip.
Then I'm going to stealth
Oh,
towards
all right.
that
We
door.
need to do stealth rolls or?
Oh yeah, go ahead and make stealth
yeah.
checks. If you want to not be viewed by this guy,
Plus
then yeah.
10.
Would definitely rather.
And I have disadvantage because of my armor, but that's still going to be a 17.
Okay.
17.
It's
Okay.
over 20. It's over 20.
Alrighty. As you guys are walking past, you successfully evade the sight of the skeletons and the tiefling. As you head over to an area that is curtained instead of doored, the tiefling continues to talk and says, "And by that point, I'd realized that the Yuan-Ti were really just fine people. They had no musical prowess, of course, but they could sing songs of Zahir, the Night Fang, for time to come." Are you writing this down? Good. As you guys are moving through the curtains, you guys want to pass on to the next room? Okay. You do so, and you are in a very large theater. Very, very large. There are at least 50 steps that head onto a main, oh gosh, what is it called? Theater, kids, help me out. It's where all the musicians play.
Orchestra pit.
Thank you. Above that,
Orchestral pit. My bad.
thank you. The stage itself is grand, and a single spotlight shines down on what looks to be a Ganassi, an Earth Ganassi, who stands and has like a wooden axe, and she kind of like prances around and she hits it into this large worm-looking entity, and it falls down. And she moves and she finds like a large blue dragon, and she hits that, and it falls down. And then she moves over and she finds a very large red bird that she hits, and it falls down. And finally, she goes over to what looks to be like a cutout, very poorly, of this. It looks like it's wrapped in some kind of ivy, like cut out of a humanoid, and she hits that, and it falls down. And then it like places dramatically over her eyes, her arm, and she begins to weep and fall down, and the spotlight disappears.
Well, that was dramatic.
As Iowyn offers her applause, the lights shine back on, and you see all of the things that were just props are actually people now, and they all bow and like go like this to an audience that is not there.
I was applauding silently, by the way. Like, I still don't want to like
make hella noise.
Yeah.
If you're checking the compass, it points down towards your northeast, right corner of the room.
The emergency exit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to head in that direction?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as you do, I would like each of you to make dexterity saving throws.
Ooh, I get advantage on those.
Do I get anything on this? Nope. That would be.
I got an 8.
And you had advantage.
19.
Yeah.
21.
This is where the dice turn.
Okay. The Omaga, you're going to go ahead and take 6 points of piercing damage as you step into a bear trap.
Oh, boy. 6?
It clamps firmly around your ankle as you can feel the spikes digging in towards the bone.
I like bite back a yell. This is fine. I've had worse.
The trap opens up seemingly on its own. He says, "Well, take your foot out of there." You can hear the sound of Hobby, who is still invisible behind you.
Hobby, just because you're invisible doesn't mean that I still can't shove your face in between this bear trap. And I move.
It's like a half second that you move your ankle out of the way before it clumps back on again.
I kick one of my feet out just in case I can trip him or hit him, and I keep walking.
You do not hear the sound of a stumble. You guys make your way towards the bottom right, but it says that you need to go onto the stage from the direction of the arrow.
Okay. Can we stealth onto the stage?
Oh yeah, you can get on there. It's easy climb. Won't even require an. Oh, stealth on there? I mean, yeah, girl. You go ahead and you do your thing.
Same.
Yeah. And we're still past without a trace, so.
Mm-hmm. Have you extended past it? I assume not to Hobby.
I mean, I did it to our whole party, to be fair. I said our whole party, and that includes him right now, so.
Okay.
That's 34.
Okay.
22. With disadvantage, that's 20.
I may have missed something. We rolling for stealth?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that is 25.
25. Each of you are able to stay out of the eyesight of the Ganassi and the other props that are now humanoids. Lawrence, as you're moving about the stage, you keep on having it come to one area. As you move past, it points backwards. As you go backwards, it points forward. And you look down and you see a small... go ahead and make a perception check for me, actually. Mr. Mike, you're Lawrence.
Get the shit out of my ears. That's
all
not
good.
Great, but not bad. 19.
19. It's not great in comparison to a 34 for stealth.
I'm sorry.
You were able to see not only the trapdoor underneath your feet, but there seems to be a rope pulley that allows it to be pulled up.
All right, let's. Can I see anything beneath that or past, or can I just start pulling? Or
No, you can just pull and the trapdoor will open up.
Let's do it.
Love it.
Alrighty. Who's hopping down?
I'll go down first.
Alrighty. How do you do it?
I scaled. Well, the rope pull was only to like
Open
Yeah.
up the door, yeah.
open it up. I mean, I'm decently acrobatic, very athletic. I'll just like maneuver my way down there.
Okie dokie. You go ahead and you scale your way down into the darkness below. Who's next?
Does the door stay open on its own, or do I have to keep pulling? And
No. The door can stay open on its own.
all right.
I'm gonna call down and ask Nari, how far is it?
How far
There-
is it?
There's no response. You can't answer the question.
I don't hear anything.
Damn dimensions.
That's stupid.
Who's
This is one of my
next?
Oh,
this is
I'll
one of
go.
my smart characters. I'm
Alvin goes down next. Hobby goes ahead and he makes it known. He's like, "Oh, pardon me," and he scales down into the pit, leaving just you, Lawrence.
I go.
Okay, and you go down. As you pass through the trapdoor, you find yourself like on a bed of gosh, what am I trying to think of? Bedding. You're on like a bedding material.
like
bunch of-
duvets and sheets and
Yep. And as you kind of walk forward, you find yourself in a long hallway. In front of you is a large creature that is on all fours. It looks like a humanoid, but it's using its hands to kind of move. It's large, lots of. It reminds you almost like a turtle in its posture, but there's like moss growing all around it and covering its entire face with these very large vines. You can see two big yellow eyes emerging from there. And it just kind of moves across this hall, looks over in your guys' direction, kind of moves closer. There's a very musky smell that comes from it, something that kind of permeates into the air that smells like rainwater and plant life. It smells like the earth after a soft rain.
this is one of the golems, right?
It looks different from the gentleman you saw at the very entrance of this area.
Can I do a nature check then to try to figure out what it is?
Sure.
That's a dirty 20.
You have no idea what this creature is.
Okay.
I'd like to do the same because they said that they referred to her, the girl we're looking for, as the Symphony of Rain. So
Sure. Gotcha.
I don't know if this is like some other form or something.
Mhm.
Nature is going to be a 16.
You have no idea what this creature is. Yeah, go for it.
I literally no, I can't because my nature is -1. So even a nat 20 be 19.
Yeah, like I got a dirty 20 and it still was like dicks.
Doesn't I don't know. I was trying to think of a way to spin survival into this. Like, have I ever had to try to survive against something like this?
Yeah.
As you assess this thing, it kind of moves forward towards you guys. And looking at kind of like stands itself up a little bit to kind of make itself known and kind of look a little bigger in raising itself off the ground a little bit, looking straight on at you guys.
I'm gonna bow again. I keep bowing to everything, but it's fine.
For once, Nalri follows Aelwyn's mannerisms. Probably a little like clunky, like very like awkward, but
Out of peer pressure, I joined them. Like, I don't know. Maybe they know something I don't, but
well, I listen. She does this all the time. I really don't know what it means, but like it sometimes works for her. I don't know.
As you guys bow, you can hear the sounds of it moving closer to you. And as you guys are like staring down at the carpet, you can see like its hands place underneath each of you. I can hear kind of this sound as though things are being pulled apart through large thickets of vines. And Lawrence, on your head, you can feel what looks like a very clammy hand kind of encapsulate your head, kind of feeling around your cheekbones, your ears.
You can say it moist. You can say
it. Some people are triggered by the word.
I know.
It kind of like drapes the shape of your nose, and it puts a thumb underneath your mouth.
What the fucking hi? What's going on?
That's fucking nasty.
It releases its hands from you. And I'll win. You can feel this kind of like palm press onto your forehead and like place its long fingers towards the back of the crown of your head and begin to kind of like knead into the area where the crown pierced into your skull.
Oh.
And you can feel there's always been kind of a dull ache from those as it kind of just alleviates, as it encircles the rest of your head. It takes a hand off. Nalari, at this point, you're too large, like you're too tall physically to like not notice what's happening on the left of you. And it turns and you can see like these smaller pair of hands recede back into the form of this creature where just the eyes are kind of staring at you. And you can see like there's actual water that forms up around it and begins to kind of like drip onto the floor. And you can see this kind of formulation of ice crystals around its really large, massive hands that are keeping it upright. And you can see it pulls something from the ground and like with its large hand kind of opens it up. And you see what looks to be a seashell, but it's not ordinary looking. Like it doesn't look like it was made from nature. It is geometrical in its shapes, perfect squares that kind of form what looks to be almost like a cyclone or a hurricane form made out of pure white ice.
Nalri looks it in its eyes and slowly reaches up and takes it. And while Nalri doesn't have magic, she can't control things, but I think as she takes it, there is like a little bit of like a rumble of thunder.
As you take it from it, it places a hand back and begins to like back up a little bit, pushes a door open, and despite its size and the door being small, somehow it kind of like filters inward and it goes through into the door closing behind it. You're at the end of a long hallway. It is gone. There's definitely still wet footprints into the floor.
Can I try to do some sort of check on this weird shell?
What do you want to find out about it?
What it do?
If you're looking for an Arcana check, you can make one.
Well, what did do check?
I shove it under Elwin's nose.
It's like, look at this. What is this?
Hey, what it do?
Arcana, you said?
Yeah, you can make Arcana. Try to find out what it do.
It's a 24.
24. It ice. It melt if it hot. It stay cold if it cold. It was formed by a really weird creature, but all of it, your magical training has taught you that there's nothing magical about this.
It's just ice.
Fuck. I just walk.
He says, you should get rid of that. You can hear Hobby say from behind you.
Like I would listen to anything you tell me to do.
You know what?
Why? Why should she get rid of it?
There are connotations associated with beings that by keeping it, you associate yourself with it. Now, it's up to you if you want to keep it. If it were me, I would leave it where I found it, or I'd break it in half, toss it over my shoulders, and forget I ever received it.
Well, you're a bastard, so. Oh, sorry.
What kind of
Sorry, Lawrence. You're a jerk.
what kind of connotations?
Alexia is old, very old. And one of the first creatures that came here didn't really know what they wanted to be. Some took forms that they thought would become advantageous, and others decided to allow nature to format how they would be. Creatures like those are the association of things that chose not to be shaped by any one thing. There is nothing about them that associates them with a higher or lower power. They simply are. They're a representation of the neutrality of all life. If I were caught holding one of those, I would be ridiculed, for my existence runs perpendicular to theirs. You holding onto it, well, I don't imagine that the Celestians would care for it much.
Well, I can't necessarily say I'm the most religious person. Gods come and go, and as I've been told, demons similarly. There's nothing more real in this world, nothing more tangible than nature.
Suit yourself. And he like walks a few steps forward down the hall. Stops. Even as you can see, like, there are footprints that are made in divots as he remains invisible. Well, which direction are we heading?
Pull out the compass and
Mhm.
see what it says.
It points directly forward down the hall.
Why do I have the feeling we're going to be walking for a really long time?
Yeah. That may be the case, but it's part of the job.
You guys continue onward, down the hall as far as you can go. It is with your past perception that each of you can hear. Hobby says, "Quick, hide." And he's going to go ahead and make a stealth check. Neat. Those who wish to join him can do so.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
That's going to be another 34.
30. Jeez.
I
Really?
keep
That
rolling
is a
6.
nat 20. Oh, I
Yeah.
have disadvantage. I'm sorry. I have disadvantage.
But yeah,
Another one. Fuck the odds. 1 in 400.
Liv's done it.
Yeah.
It's a 17. So 27, 29. 29.
It's not bad.
I roll a 3.
Yeah, it's very funny. Nalri's a Goliath. She's a very big individual, but she is proficient in stealth.
so we're bugbears, man. They make it work.
Yeah.
You watch as one of these large stone golems walks down the hall as each of you are like pressed up against the walls themselves. It continues to move, dragging along its large fists of stone. It moves down the carpet, and as it passes you by, it continues to move through the curtains out of sight.
Hmm.
Probably shouldn't.
All right, let's go.
That's myself. And I was 17, so hopefully that wasn't something you need to worry about.
As you guys move through,
Very good 17.
Yeah. Their passive
Solid,
perception
solid 17, you know.
Their passive perception is not super great, but especially with pass without a trace. As you guys move through, you notice that as you get to an intersection, the compass violently switches over to the left and then goes all the way to the right.
Oh, okay. We sure about right? I kind of looked down the compass like.
I know, right? What are we doing here, pal?
Said left for a second.
It remains pointing right.
All right, then. All right.
I want to look up and down.
Looking up and down, you can see those same waves moving across, like shifting over rooms. It is an ever presence that like the Feywild comes in here and kind of has nature take over portions of the wall and then immediately reduce down and turn cold and dark as though the entire walls are becoming dilapidated. And then it looks as though there's nothing apparent to the wallpaper at all. It shifts, constantly moving, and possibly the doors are also moving as well.
But even now it's shifted, it's still saying to go right.
Correct.
Okay.
As you walk down this hallway, you see all the way down the it looks to be a semicircle of mirrors that are showing that it's basically just a room that is all mirrors. You notice at the center of it is a blue figure. She looks as though she is cold, although her skin looks to be made of kind of like this material akin to chitin or seashell. And she looks up and her hair kind of moves over and you can kind of see it just kind of move on its own like tendrils or kelp. She looks over and she says, "Who's there?" in Sylvan.
I'm going to reply in Sylvan and say, a friend.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. 17.
17. She smiles and she says, "Thank goodness." And as she walks forward, you realize that she stops as though she hits something, and you can see like her place a hand, and you can see the form fade away as it looks like she is trapped behind the mirror itself. All of her reflections single down to a single one in the back.
Okay. Are we able to get around to the other one?
No, it looks like as though this entire room is made up of mirrors on the walls, and she's stuck in the one directly in front of you.
Oh. See if this compass can help us here.
As you move, it points to her.
Okay, so I guess I'll approach that mirror and I don't know, I kind of push or tap a little bit on the side. I'm afraid if I break this mirror, she'll die. I don't know how magic works.
Mood.
Yeah, I want to investigate the mirror.
Go ahead. Make an investigation check.
That's a 3.
3. From what you can tell, this mirror is a mirror with a girl trapped on the other side. It could just be glass.
Okay, can I try to investigate it?
Yeah, go for it.
Shut up.
Never.
9.
9. Definitely firm. Definitely has some weight to it and give. It doesn't put your arm through or try to eat you like a mimic would.
I don't think it's glass. Like I think there's something on the other side. I don't think it's. I don't know.
Let me take a look at it too, for good measure, since no one's rolled well yet. 10.
10. The most astute observation so far, what your investigation reveals to you is that part of her hand is, as it reaches the edge of the mirror, it appears in the mirror next to her, showing like this space is external. What do I mean? So she's not trapped in a single mirror. Her image is shared over a second one, so she can move to another mirror if need be.
Should.
What the fuck?
I should break them. Yeah.
I don't know.
I am going to go up to the mirror.
Okay.
And I am going to cast Detect Magic.
Okay. All of them light up. Every single mirror in this room lights up, as do the items that are carried on your person. The spell or school of magic that you get from Detect Magic in here is illusion.
Okay.
Can you ask her if we should break the mirror or something?
Yeah, what does she know about the situation, if anything?
He's been here a while. This might be the route to take.
Okay. I'm going to look at her and in Sylvan say, how do I reach you?
I'm not strong enough to break through the barrier, but I'm not quiet enough. If you break the glass, the warden will know. He will hear it. But it is the only way that I have found to escape, and I'm not strong to do it myself.
The only way?
That I know.
All right. I'm going to look around my party and say,
Get all the panes of glass and bring them with. Then go somewhere quiet.
Dun, 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 dun.
Well, if we need to break the glass, I can do that, but I'd really rather not.
do we need to find the lockpick first? Because I don't think we're getting out of here without a fight.
Shit.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Not really gonna have time to mosey, will we?
Mm-mm.
All right.
If we do this, we are getting ourselves into a fight. So I think we should go. I think we should find every piece of our mission first and then come back.
Look at that compass. We're going for the hairpin or whatever it was.
Yeah.
As you do, the arrow spins very, 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 very fast.
I know. I'm sorry, man. It doesn't point in any direction.
It continues to spin.
Can you please not be like this right now?
Can you please just hold
We're
it?
trying to get through with this, and you're just being fussy.
Yeah.
It stops.
See? There. Thank you. Where's it pointing?
And which way is it pointing?
As you move, it continuously points kind of to where Axel is standing. And it's only then that you realize, make an investigation check for me.
Not one.
Oh my god.
So proud.
17.
17.
15.
Iolwyn, you notice the shape of this needle is very unusual. As though there's a hook on it. It looks as though it is a lockpick. It makes no sense, but for whatever reason, the lock gave you the lockpick already. No need for you to find it. It seemed like he always wanted you to come back to him.
All right.
You know this, but you do not say it out loud yet. Hobby says, well, this thing must be broken. I say that we forget having to find the lockpick. I don't trust the lock anyway. He's a scrupulous character, to be sure.
I'm going to look towards Hobby's general direction if he's still invisible.
Yep.
I think it's the first time we're agreed on something.
You can almost kind of hear the intake of air from the non-visible Hobby. Well,
I'm going to turn to the rest of the party and say, get your weapons out.
Oh, Nari happily pulls out her great axe. Yeah, great axe.
there you go.
She doesn't have swords. Not a sword type of family.
All right.
Oh. Let's rock and roll.
I'm going to prepare a spell too, which I'm deciding right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna prepare
And
to go
then-
into a rage.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty. So what's the plan?
We're going to break the glass. Who wants to do it? Because I don't think I'm strong enough.
Do it. Do it.
Amber four. I gotta roll for this one.
Oh, yeah.
Bradley, I'm messaging you what spell I'm preparing, just so you have a
I have a
record of it.
feeling I know what it's going to be.
That is a dirty 20.
Okay. I have 21 messages. Dear Lord. Okay.
We haven't even been messaging you that much.
It's not you guys.
Oh.
I've never been that popular. It's a group message. Alrighty.
That's so sad. Alexa.
What's the damage, my man?
That is 14 damage.
Okay. 14 damage. As you go ahead and you strike into the mirror, you can feel like the crack shatter along the entirety of the wall as it breaks open, and it makes a cacophonous sound. As all of this breaks, it echoes throughout the hallway as Felucian stands there in a room that is a double of the one you're standing in. As she walks across the glass, cutting herself bit by bit, she kind of walks down onto this area and she looks about. She says, "Do you hear it?" And you do. You can hear the and let me go ahead. Hang on a second. I'm doing a bunch of stuff. In my
You're good.
lots of
We're doing
cool
great,
stuff.
honestly.
And I'm sorry.
Feeling
I don't
tonight?
think I have enough dice. It's fine.
Allison, no, that's not on brand for us. What are you doing? How do you not have enough dice?
It takes a lot of one specific type, that's why.
Ah, yes.
It's all D6s or D8s. It's probably all D8s. Okay. I've just about got everyone pretty much set up here. I know that you guys have seen this one before, but I just love it so much. Let me go ahead and
It's not.
I mean, it's a cantrip map, so they're all A+, they're all quality. I want to play with him again. He was so much fun.
he was pretty great.
Yeah.
I would like to do it again.
Yes, please.
Behold.
Ah,
But-
yes.
Welcome to my hooker palace. Alrighty.
Okay. That's...
Even before that comment.
At this time, I realized no one else knows that TikTok sound. Okay. That's fine. We're going to go ahead and put Hobby over here.
Not on TikTok that often. Ever, actually.
The wife got me into it. Okay. Across, you see the formation of a heavily clad metal knight, skin bone-like, as he stands defiant. He says, "You are intruding." He pulls the sword out, holds a hand up, and then the blight will take action right about there. Okay.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, it's a con saving throw.
Yes.
Wait, do we need to roll initiative? Or...
Well, this is going to be before
I
initiative.
readied this.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, she gave me notice beforehand. He rolled. That'd be 20 if I'm not mistaken.
okay, that saved, so I believe that's half damage.
I believe so. What kind of damage is this?
Necrotic.
Fuck him up.
Okay. I'll go ahead and save you some trouble with rolling a bunch of dice. As you cast this blight upon him, you can see it like hold over his skin, and he like kind of looks at his hand as the blight is taking hold, and you can kind of see him laugh, go, "That magic does not affect me. He is immune to necrotic damage."
Okay, cool.
All right, now we can roll initiative. Sorry, Allison. I didn't
That's
know.
all good.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, we're rolling initiative? Okay.
Oh yeah, girl. Let's go. Let's do it.
Oh, woo-hoo! So just because, just to give you a little bit of peek behind the dice, Nalri gets advantage on initiatives now, and I rolled a nat 20 and a nat 1. So
course you
you'll
did.
love to see it.
All right. 25 to 20. I'm going to go ahead and say Nalri's the highest one on there.
Yeah, 23.
All right. 19 to 15.
15. I win.
Okay. 14 to 10.
Oh no!
9 to 5. Cool.
Three.
All right.
Roll
I
a
should
nat one.
I should roll for Hobby as well. You rolled a 3? Cool. Hobby rolled a 4.
Damn it.
What I get for trying to do a different spell.
Okay. And then Axelrod. What would Hobby's hit point total be at now? Because he gets a bunch done to him because of that stupid spell. Finger of Death. I'm upset about this, but I'm also the one who did it to myself. It was like it's like actively punching myself in the face. Okay. Oh. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Top of initiative, we have Nalri. Nalri in the corner. Your dude's over here.
Yep. Quick question for you.
Always love to hear questions. Hit me with it.
What size would you say this fool is?
This gentleman is medium-sized.
Medium-sized. Okay. Good to know. Good to know these things. 1 second. I'm pulling out more D6s. Okay, I think we're finally ready to rock and to roll, baby. So the first attack Nalri is going to do is I'm going to throw the javelin of lightning, and I'm gonna, as she yells at it, she's gonna yell strike to activate its lightning form as well.
Bitchin'. Go for it.
So that's going to be 18 to hit.
18 does not hit.
Okay. Let me see if there's like a. Oh wait, no, it doesn't hit at all, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So then, in that case, she is going to still charge forward till she's right up next to it, and she's going to go into a rage, and I will roll my 2d6s for that.
Cool.
And it has. Yeah, he has to make a dexterity saving throw. Or they have to.
Okay. Dex save. Not great. 15. Flat.
15 does not save.
Hang on. 21. Flat.
Okay, so they get 3 points of... No, it's rounding up. They get 4 points of lightning damage.
Cool.
And then while she is up there, close and comfortable, she's going to attack with her Giant Slayer axe. Wait a minute. I haven't played a barbarian in a minute.
Hang on. You ran up with how much of your movement do you have?
I have 40.
Oh, you can easily. Yep, that'll work.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Strength weapons. Okay. That is going to be 28 to hit. No, 29 to hit.
29 does hit.
And that's going to be 13 points of damage.
Okay. Oh, well, that's neat. Oh, can I add 6 to this? And nope, never mind. Alrighty, and you said that was 14?
13, and then I'm going to...
You've action, bonus actioned.
I've actioned my bonus action. I could use my reaction, but nobody else has attacked yet, so I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and how much that was 13? Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. You charge up at this guy after you fling the javelin of lightning. It sails as he places up a shield and quickly blocks it, bashing it to the side. It clambers off into the distance. You rush up with a great axe and you just slam it down. Even his strength doesn't stop it from mailing in and striking into the armor. And you can kind of see it hitting part of the bone as he kind of pushes it out. You can see the red eyes blaring.
Yeah.
That's action.
He also got 4 points of damage from my rage.
Wait. Oh, an additional 4? Okay, cool.
Yeah, because he saves, so you get half damage. Not
all right. Alrighty. So, that is action. That's bonus action. That's movement. I'm gonna say that's you done. I'll win. You up, girl.
All right, I'm gonna run forward. Let's go 2 spaces forward.
Let's have your
And
face.
plant my staff into the ground
Mm-hmm.
and cast Wall of Thorns. I want it to appear kind of at a diagonal from the warden to where it just barely catches Hobby.
Wow. Okay.
It can be 60 feet long, so. Just like on accident. He might have to start his turn there and take a little damage. It's fine.
An accident.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. And what kind of save is that?
Dexterity save.
All right. So that's going to be a 19 for the Death Knight. What level spell is the?
It's a 6th level spell.
Hobby does not take any damage.
Figured as much, but oh well.
Just so that he knows.
Sorry, it's my
This was
thorny
just-
personality.
6th or lower, unless he chooses to be. Yep. The
Thorny
spike,
personality
it
type.
forms, but you see that same pentagonal sphere kind of go around him as the thorns kind of climb overhead. He says, "Hey!" The warden,
Sorry.
the floor bursts through with all of these this thorn wall as it begins to form. It encapsulates the warden in it as he kind of dodges out of the way. How much damage does he take?
Math.
Math.
Of that.
Possible. It's math.
19 points of slashing damage.
19. Okay. That sucks for me. Okay.
Wait, hang on. I only rolled 6 and it's 78. Sorry. That's another 2 points. That's 21.
Damage is damage. Take it while you can get it. Is that reduced?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a
Gotcha.
4, so.
Alrighty. So then that is your action. That's 10 feet of your movement. Anything else you want to do?
Nope, I'm good.
Cool. Liv,
Mm-hmm.
you got to understand that I don't hate you.
No, never.
Good.
Never understand or
Trying to think what would be better here. I can't hit him with that. Let's go ahead and go with a... All right. I'm going to go ahead and lay this all out for you. So the first thing we're going to do is strike you, and I'm going to go ahead and see if I can do a staggering smite into this. As soon as I find the fucking spell. QRS.
you said he's a paladin, huh?
Yeah.
That's a bonus action.
Both broken paladin.
The next time your weapon pierces bolt. Okay. The attack deals an extra. Okay. Great. Cool. Neat. Alrighty. So here we go. First attack. Okay. He rolled an 11, so that makes it 22.
22 to hit. That hits.
Cool. So 4 damage. That's going to be. He has his shield out, so he is rolling one-handed. So that is going to be first 12 points of damage reduced to 6 because you are raging.
Yep.
And then another 4d8 for the necrotic damage that you take full of, unless I understand differently.
No, raging is only like physical attacks.
Okay, that is going to be 19 points of necrotic damage.
Okay.
Then we are going to go ahead and do another 4d6
Mm-hmm.
so that we can go ahead and do psychic damage.
Oh.
That is 20 psychic damage.
Okay.
And I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's a 9.
18 is the DC. So on a failed save, you have disadvantage on attacks and ability checks and can't take reactions until the end of your next turn. That is the first attack.
I didn't want to knock him prone so y'all can like actually stand a chance. It's fine. I have something I can do. So how often do I have disadvantage for?
Just until the end of your next turn.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm going to now waltz up. Oh, no. Yeah, no, this guy. There we go. 5, 10, 15, 20.
Sorry, hang on just a sec.
Sure.
Is that also rough terrain?
Yeah, it costs him 4 feet of movement for every 1 foot of the wall he goes through. And it's a 5 foot thick wall.
Oh, that's some bullshit.
Just
so it's
saying.
20 feet of movement just to get out of that?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Also,
so 20,
not to mention the damage he takes, right?
25, 30.
Yeah.
Fuck me. I can't even. Well, if I knew it was going to be that tough to get out of here, then I'll just go ahead and position myself here so I can still get a second attack on Nalri. Since I can't reach Iolwyn.
Damage, Alwyn, yes, no?
No, it's if he ends his turn there.
Yay! All right. So
I
then
was double checking.
the warden will go ahead and attack once more. That is a natural 20.
That hits.
Annoying, but whatever.
Okay.
It's fine. This is what I'm here for.
All right. That first damage is going to be 17 reduced to 8.
Okay.
And then the necrotic damage, which gets doubled. It's going to be 34.
Okay.
All righty. But that's it.
Cool.
That's it. How good are you?
1 minute. Let me like try to. I can't do math. So let me try to figure out what my half is. I'm like under my half.
Okay. But that is the end of his turn. And next up we have Hobby. Let's see what we got. Hobby, you've got a bunch of cool stuff, don't you?
Bradley fights himself.
You talk about my life every day. All right, since he is not affected by this, he will go ahead and go, let's see. That's 15. That's 30. He'd probably actually, for the advantage, hang on a second, he's over here. That's 15. That'll be 20, 25, and then 30. So that Hobby can go ahead and get advantage on those attacks with his claws. Alrighty, that is going to be an 18 plus 7 for 25. I'll do this math quickly here for you, folks. That's going to be, wow, not great. 6 points of slashing damage, and he is cursed. Not like he'll be around very long to experience that, but nonetheless cursed. And then we're going to go ahead and... Oh, we can make 2 claw attacks. We'll go ahead and hit him again for that advantage, which will be 19, which does not hit. Alrighty. He'll use... Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all he's got. Cool. Next up, we have Axelrod. Mr. Lawrence, you're free to move about the cabin.
We got 25 feet to move, so I'm going to go, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. Yeah, I can get to striking distance. You go diagonal again? No, up from there.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
I just want to be able to reach him.
Enough said.
So he's flanked by Hobby and Nalri. That doesn't do anything for me, does it?
Negative, sir.
All right, well then, just going to attack.
Sounds good. I think you get like 8 of them at this level. I don't know. I stopped counting.
Dirty 20.
Cool. What's the damage?
That is 14 damage.
Actually, I'm going to go ahead and parry that. I'm going to use my reaction to add 6 to my AC, so that one will not hit.
Bastard. Second attack.
Okay.
That is also a dirty 20.
That one will hit. I can't do that twice in a row.
And 9 damage.
9 damage. Okay.
And third and final attack. is a 24 and
That'll hit.
13 damage.
Okay. This is fun. You guys having fun?
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Cool. Great.
Sure.
That is action. That is, I think, 2 attacks. Do you get 3?
That was my third one.
Oh, okay.
I
And
do
then
get 3, and it was my third. So
thank you, sir.
good. We're done.
And then bonus action of any?
Nope.
Cool.
I don't wanna
Next
do it
up,
now.
we have Iowan. Nope, excuse me, Nalri. You have returned back.
Yes. So are we flanking or are we not flanking?
You are flanking currently with Hobby.
Okay.
Hobby gives you the advantage.
Cool. So I don't have to recklessly attack because that'll cancel out my disadvantage.
Correct.
So I'm going to just go ahead
Straight
and
roll.
do 2 attacks with my Giant Slayer axe, great axe. Let's see. The first attack is going to be 18, but that doesn't hit, right?
18 does not hit. No,
Okay. The second attack is going to be 25,
does hit.
and that is going to be 18 points of damage.
18 points of damage. Woo boy. Alrighty. The first attack he hits against the sword as he's fighting against both you and Hobby, keeping diligent. It strikes against his shield, excuse me. And then you come up again and strike further down, and you can kind of hear this kind of crunch as he takes in as much of the brunt of the damage as he can. Bonus action of movement.
No bonus action, no movement, but what I am going to do is use my reaction now to knock him prone.
Due to the staggering smite you until the end of your next turn. You cannot take reactions.
Okay,
Just
so
because
the
of this turn.
end of this turn.
Yes, afterwards you have it all the way back. And reactions you can only take at on a turn that's not your own anyway.
It's just weird though because it's like when you hit a creature in your aura with an attack, you can use your reaction to knock the creature prone. That's why it's like it's like weird verbiage because I know I can only take reactions when it's not my attack. But I guess it's basically saying like you can burn it during your attack, you just won't be able to react to anything.
You hit you with your aura with an attack, you can use your reaction to force the creature to make a saving throw. I guess on anyone's turn that's not your own, you can force them to make that reaction.
Cool.
But and you have to. What? That is weird verbiage. I would rule that you do take it outside of your turn. I'll say in this instance, you can burn your reaction to cause that effect. Just not on this turn due to a spell.
Got it.
That is weird verbiage. It's the first time we've ever had it used.
Reactions aren't during your turn, but it's during your attack.
Correct.
So I'm just taking it as like you sacrifice your reaction later. I don't know.
But that's action. That's no bonus action. Don't you use your bonus action for the lightning thing? Or can you not take that either?
I think it's only at the beginning. I realized that we've been doing it wrong all this time.
What?
Let's see. You gain a 10-foot aura effect when you start your rage and as a bonus action. Oh, and as a bonus action of each of your turns. I'm done.
I just have to make a dex save throw, which he's good at, but it's not a magical effect, so he doesn't get advantage on it. Wow, what a terrible roll. That's a 12?
Okay, not that much damage, just 4 points of lightning damage.
I'll take it. Damage be damage, girl.
I guess that must be a sea thing. I don't think tundra or desert get that.
No, not typically, no. That's why we picked it, I think.
Yeah, because it was damn good. And also I like storms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we've spent all this time. That's action, that's movement, that's bonus action. Oh, well, that's no movement. Do you want to move? You can leave. You can always leave. Door's right here.
I'm good.
Right there. Okay. Then next we have Islewin. Islewin, what's the plan?
I am going to stay where I am,
Okay.
and
Bless you.
I am going. Sorry.
You're perfect.
I was trying to figure out what this is made from. Sorry, I was trying to be prepared.
No, you're good.
I'm just going to do it, and then Bradley, you can help me decide when I do it.
You got it.
I am going to cast Conjure Elemental.
Fuck. You couldn't have used Wild Shape. Wild Shape, I was... Okay. That's
Dude,
fine,
you
that's
hate
fine.
Wild Shape. I do everything
do.
about
Not
Wild Shape.
Druid.
Conjure...
She's
is a-
not like other druids.
Oh,
Okay, so
all right. What kind of elemental do you want? What flavor?
What flavor would an invisible stalker be?
What? That's not an elemental, is it?
It's listed in the spell.
You're shitting me. You can make an invisible stalker?
Nice.
All right, that's awesome.
What flavor is that? Is that air?
I would assume that has to be air. It is even
Because
the
if I cast the
illustration.
spell at 6th level, I can do a challenge rating of 6, which is an invisible stalker.
Yes, it is. An elemental? Are you kidding? Invisible stalker is an air elemental that has been summoned from its native plane and transformed by powerful magic. I guess so.
So I'm going to summon one of those, and that's going to fight this thing with us.
Cool. Do you get to dictate its attacks, or is that something that I do?
I roll initiative for it, and it fights, for me, basically.
Cool. It's
friendly to myself and my companions for the duration.
Companions.
Companions. Roll initiative for it. It has its own turns. It obeys any verbal commands I give it. Basically, I just have to maintain concentration, but I have Warcaster, so that's not a problem.
Cool. Alrighty. Oh, let's go ahead and show the nameplate. Alrighty, where do you want him to appear?
I'm gonna have him appear right next to the warden.
Cool. And now I have 8 books open.
But
you know what? To save time, is it okay if it shares? It goes after you in initiative order, just to keep it all spicy.
Yes. Cool.
Perfect.
And then as a bonus action, I am going to cast Healing Word at 3rd level for Nalri.
Ooh, 3rd level.
Yeah. So that is going to be not a lot, but that's going to be 10 hit points back.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Okay. Then it's the Invisible Stalker's turn. I will go ahead and tell you right now, it does not have initiative unless you want to move it here so that it's parallel with Lawrence. And it gets 2 slam attacks, both of which you can do with advantage if you so choose.
You know what's something I always forget? My racial features.
Stone endurance, yes. Go ahead and roll your attacks against him.
All right. I'm going to use these pretty gray dice for it. Why not? That is a 17 plus 6 to hit, so 23.
I'm going to use
for the
my
first slam
reaction.
attack.
Actually, did I use my reaction previously? Yeah, against Lawrence. And it hasn't gone all the way around it yet. Okay, yeah, that one will hit.
That's going to be
2d6 plus 3.
11 bludgeoning damage.
11 will do. Okay. And then next up.
And no, he gets 2 attacks.
Yes, he does. Sorry, that is what I meant to say.
Attacks.
Go for it.
That's a nat 20.
Of course it is.
I'm not joking. I will show you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're just showing me the side. Never mind. We're professionals. I believe you.
Oh my god. 2d6. That's 4 and a 3, so that's 7. That's going to be 14 plus 3 to 17 damage.
17 damage. Holy shit. Okay. Well, I have had it with you people. That's the end of the Invisible Stalker's turn. Do you want to move him anywhere?
No, he's good.
Cool. Then it is my turn. Beset on all sides by monsters. It's looking bad. It's Paladin. You know what? Once per day I can do this. He summons this magical ball of fire that explodes at a point he can see within 120 feet. He's going to center it on himself, maybe on Hobby, so that it encapsulates Iowyn, Lawrence, Nalri, and Alistair all in that happy bubble there. Everyone needs to make a dexterity saving throw. This is going to be a spicy meatball.
Oh my god.
Ooh. All right, so
Where's my Rasta 6-sided dice?
Dexterity saving throw, you said?
Dexterity saving throw, which you would have an advantage because this is a threat that you can see. Where is... Oh, here it is. I found it. Found my 5th one. I get to roll these 4 times.
advantage on that. So, wow. Bradley, you're going to hate me, but I kind of have a double advantage scenario here.
That's absurd. No
I
advantage is
can
not.
reroll a failed save twice a day. My
Damn.
advantage save is 11. I'm assuming that fails. Therefore, I'd like
Yes.
to reroll it. And I
Yes,
still, it's the same scenario, so I still get advantage. Thank God. Oh, yeah. It's fucking. All right. That's 15.
Okay.
If I failed that one, I would like to use my second per day. This seems like a good one to save on.
Yes, I will allow it. This
All right,
bullshit.
So to confirm, 15 fails.
15 does fail.
16.
It was meant to be, my man.
Yeah.
You tried
I
hard.
rolled like shit too. All my weak ones, and there's like.
Okay, if it makes us feel better, I failed too.
I got a 19.
19 succeeds, but it probably will not matter for you. I'm so sorry. Oh, shit. Hobby's got to save.
One.
It's not a 1, but it's not a save. Oh, he gets. But this is an immunity because it's not a magical spell. It's a feature. He doesn't even get to. That's so weird. Why would he get to save? Because he doesn't. Oh, shit. Okay.
You played yourself.
Hobby's going to die because he has 24 hit points. And if I were to just take just the dice from this, it'll probably kill him because I have to roll 20 dice. And unless they're all ones, he will die.
Man.
So we're going to go ahead and take the
Fascinating.
damage. So I'm going to go ahead and add up. This is too much dice for me to roll. Okay. So it's 10d6 fire and then 10d6 necrotic.
Hey, I can't die. Cool.
I got to write down totals. Okay. That's weird that it was the same thing both times. All right. Fire damage is officially 32. Nalri, you can go ahead and only take 16 from that.
Hey guys, guess what?
Mm.
I have 69 hit points.
Hey.
There's always a silver lining.
That's the silver lining. This is the
You know
hill.
what? Seeing as how bad you fucked us, yeah.
Okay, and it's 30 necrotic damage.
Okay. I'm going to
Oh,
use
fuck.
Stone Endurance to reduce that damage.
Uh,
Wait, you said it was 30, so I got half of that, right?
yeah, so that'll be 15.
Still gonna do it.
He gets to make a resistance against it to see if he dies from it or not. But he does it at advantage. So let's find out. Are you faster than your own fireball? He is. So he will only take out of the 62, 31, which he's still alive. And
Okay, I reduced that to 4 points of damage, by the way.
what? How?
Wait, because you said, because it was 50. Wait, let me make sure I'm doing that math right.
Sure.
It was 15. I got a 9, and then it's 1d12 plus 3,
Yep.
12. And it's 15. I only got 3 points of damage. Fuck you.
Hold on. The total of the attack does 62 points of damage total, which reduced would be 31 for your resistance. And then whatever your stone's endurance takes away from that.
Oh, see, I did them as separate things. Okay. So the total is what?
The total for you would be, well, what'd you get with your stone's endurance? 12 plus 3?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 15 minus 31. Math for everyone. You would reduce it down to 16 points of damage, which is crazy good.
I still don't think we're doing that math right, but I can't. I'm so confused and lost. I'm going to take it anyway.
Okay.
I'm at 27 points.
Okay. Is everyone still alive?
Very
Yes.
much
Yeah.
so. God.
Probably the closest to death Nalri's ever gotten, but yes.
Not even close.
Closest.
6 points left.
Didn't you do death saves when we fought the dragons?
Hey, all right. Hobby's dead.
Hobby is dead, but that does not mean the end for him.
Super dead.
Maybe.
He has to die in his own plane.
I
Yep.
think I did do death saves with Nari. Never mind. I just always forget that Bradley didn't make me do death saves for so long that I always forget.
Anyway, after the smoke finally clears, the warden standing amongst the rubble of his own destroyed attack, his armor still burning brilliantly orange from his own damage, stands defiantly and says, "That's one down." He looks over at you, Nalri, says, "You're next." And that's the end of his turn. We move on to Hobby, dead. We move on to Lawrence,
Very
alive.
much so not dead. And I have advantage at the moment, do I not?
Go for it.
Oh, this is going to be great. All right. Nope. All right. That is 26 to hit. Which I assume hits.
Yep.
And that's 13 damage.
Okay.
Attack numero 2 is either 24 or, no, 29 to hit.
Parrying that.
And 13 more damage.
Oh, no, I parried it because that'll
Oh.
bring it to 26.
All right.
I gotta burn him.
Well, wait, 26 AC?
Yeah, you hit with a
That's
24.
That was a 29 to hit.
I thought you said 24.
No, 29.
Well, then I'm not going to parry that, and I'll just take the damage. You said it was 13?
13, yeah.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yep. That is either 24. Nat 20.
Woo!
All right. So it's the way this works is 2 damage dice plus the modifier.
Yep. So, no. So 2 damage dice. Because you have brutal critical? No.
Plus my base damage.
Okay, yeah. Roll the damage dice, double the face of that, and then add your modifiers.
Okay. That's a 1.
Hey, see, that's 2 plus your modifiers.
10 damage.
Huh?
10.
What are the details of his demise?
Yeah.
Well, connected on all 3 attacks. The first one, I get him in the leg, right in the knee, bring him down a little bit. The second one strikes, gets his arm, so he drops down even further, just kind of catches elbow. And then, like an old county fair. Wham! Now,
The
since
satisfying-
right at the moment, there's no explosion, but it just kind of imprints in. Make this head disappear.
And he falls lifelessly.
Woo!
There's a moment of quiet where, and you can just see Felucian, who's hiding back inside of the area where the glass has all been broken, just taking cover from that huge orb of fire and death that surrounded all of you. She walks on out and says, "Is it over? Is it safe?"
Yeah, no help to you.
Like wiping the blood off her.
I nod and say, "It's safe."
Can we leave?
Of course.
Alrighty. The 4 of you, I'll say for the sake of expediency, are able to make your way out using the cosmic compass. When you finally leave the area, leaving the turret, you see Hobby's skeletal rider on his caravan.
I'm gonna walk up
Mhm.
and nod at the driver
Like,
and say, "You can rest. You're excused."
it sighs and the bones just kind of crumple onto the seat. You can see it just in a flash of green dissipate.
All right. I'm gonna turn to the rest of them and say,
Mhm.
"Do you guys want to ride out here or in there?"
I think I'll get comfy and head back there.
Nari, sit up front with me.
Yeah. I'll keep you company.
Okay.
I did not use my 7th level spell slot so that I could cast plane shift.
Smart girl.
Okay. As you're sitting on the caravan, you cast plane shift, and this sphere kind of moves around this area. Where are you shifting to? Where would you like to go?
I'm gonna finish this mission first. I want to take her back home.
The caravan
We can go
shifts,
back to the other guy later.
and since you've gone to this garden before, the caravan shifts and places itself here in this area where you first encountered Hobby and the other nymphs. The aspect of Mist notices this. It walks up. He says, "Have you found her? Have you found my Felucian?" And she comes out from the back. And she says, "Brother," and walks over, and they embrace together. You can kind of hear like this sound of like a tropical rainstorm beginning to fall down on here and create this kind of mist that pours out from the underbrush and trees. As you all are thoroughly soaked from this, the aspect of Mist looks over, smiles, and says, "I release you of your debt. And what's more," you can see like a small little something form out as he places out. He pulls something out of his arm, and he says, "You have proven yourself to have been one of us, and we are constantly in danger from many different things that exist in the Feywild. There is a place for you here as a gardener, as a person who could watch over this grove, should you choose to take it. If not now, the offer will remain."
Nari looks at Alan and just like, "Another job? You want to take on another responsibility?" Okay, yeah, fine, whatever. We'll do it.
It is not a task per se, but an invitation to live here. You may endure for as long as you can.
Lawrence, what do you think? Here, or should we go back home to Spite?
I mean, I want a place where I can settle down and retire finally, but I would never be fully comfortable here. So let's head back.
That's fair.
As the two of you head back towards that caravan, you notice on the side of it, there seems to be kind of a burning that places in there, smoke rising from it, and you see on the side of the caravan says, "I'll be back."
Oh shit, it's a Terminator.
The aspect of Mist sees this happen. He says, "Was he felled?
For now.
He will return. Can nothing be done?"
I might know somebody, maybe.
I'm gonna turn to the aspect of Mist and say, "I would love to come back and help. But I promised Nari I would help her finish this, and I owe that to her."
"You have earned your place. It is up to you whether you take it now or later." Thank you. All of you make an investigation check real quick.
Alan's crying, by the way.
16.
16.
Also a 16.
Is that a 2?
Roll the 3, -1.
The combined efforts of both Iowin and Nalri allow you guys to inspect and find how exactly Hobby's caravan moves around. It's not magic. He doesn't plane shift every time. He has an amulet of planes embedded into the side of the caravan, and you can use that to teleport to places you've been before in different planes. So if you wanted to, you could take it back to the lamppost.
We gotta return that lockpick. Mysterious lockpick.
Down.
Okay. Using the caravan to teleport you back to the lamppost in the Shadowfell. Upon your arrival, you walk by a group of individuals led by, it looks like, Mathilde. You see a gnome thief. You see, I'm trying to remember the entire composition of the party. There's a half elf.
A gnome thief, like a specific type of elven wizard.
And a Ladrin
a
as
Ladrin,
well.
yeah. A Genasi
Warlock.
Genasi warlock, a half orc barbarian, and a
Dragonborn
druid.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah,
The six of you of them pass by and walk through another portal again. As you're walking up, you see the lock appear and say, "Look at this! How'd it go? Did you have a good time?"
Weird place. Never want to go back there.
Well, you never have to. Now, what about our mutual friend?
On for now, not forever.
Okay. Well, I have something. I'm going to be right back. And he opens up another portal, walks through it, and but a moment later, he returns on the other side with a bag of something and says, "This is how I'm going to do it." And he goes ahead and he places the bag on there. He's like, "Now, what do you know about Rakshasas, at least about killing them?"
They have to be killed in like a specific spot. That's what you said.
Exactly. They can only be killed for real on their home plane. And he's opening up the bag, and you see it's a collection of bones that look like. He says, "The thing is, they don't specify what hell." Now, I know a back way around this. He goes up to you, Nalri. He says, "How much do you hate Hobby Lipschitz?"
I hate him more than anything else I've experienced in my life.
Do you hate him more than you love raging?
I couldn't rage if I didn't have things I hated. So yeah.
What I mean is, what we have is the opportunity to create your own personal hell. And if you trap him in there, killing him there will kill him for good.
Where's the butt?
You won't be able to rage while you're in there. It will be fulminated from all of your hatred and malice. Everything that it makes you powerful in battle will be drained away and placed into this area temporarily. We can reverse the process later, but while you're fighting in that own place, you won't be able to bring your rage in there with you. So, what is it, sister? You got the muscle to take him on, as is?
For the first time in many years, Nalri, if you can like look past her facade and like her stern expression, looks very nervous. She kind of like nods hesitantly.
Look at it this way. You don't have to not use it until the moment of. You can just get weaker and then pop it, but you'll just lose the ability to do it when you're in there. I could do it with the dwarf here, the druid here, but something tells me if we do it with you, be a little bit more potent.
Yeah, fuck it, fine, whatever, yeah.
And I best get to work. And that's where we're going to end this session. If we're able to, we'll go ahead and pick this up and conclude this particular arc of the story and segue into some new things. We got a bunch of stuff going on. Thank you all for playing here. Thank you, Corporate Streams, for putting us on the internet. Thank you, Cantrip Maps, for the use of your incredible maps. They're beautiful. Go to both of their respective websites if you're interested in any of this. Have a great day. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stall for time as I move to the next thing and forget that I didn't exit out of here. I can hear my producer walking over, trying to stop me from doing it. Here we go. I'm going to turn it off. I hit the off button. Disable all. Pause for the frame.